In a world in crisis, can three idiots find hope in the darkest of places? Will love conquer all, or will hate win out in the end? This is a show called Hate.
Well, hello and welcome to a show called Hate, a podcast in which we explore love, hate, and everything in between in search of greater meaning and perhaps a little perspective. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
Whoa,
It's a Halloween spooktacular.
It's a Halloween special
No, I don't think it
on
is.
October the 8th.
It is just October.
Wait, that means like our next episode will
That will be the Halloween spooktacular.
It will.
We should do a spooktacular.
Ooh.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how we could convey that in an audio
We could talk
format.
about the things we love and hate about Halloween.
Or being scared.
Haven't we done that
I
before?
hate that.
We have been recording for like
I'm sure we've
At
done
least-
that episode before.
at least 15 years now.
Answers on
at
a
least
postcard.
we're consistent.
Yeah, well, but that's the point about Halloween. It comes but once a year, but
I hate it.
but regularly, we should say. Like
I don't remember going through the thought process of thinking what I hate about Halloween.
Maybe I dreamt it.
I think
I'm very
we did,
unimaginative.
Did we do it for Christmas?
We just
Well,
got
we
hammered
did
at
a
Christmas.
scary.
just got hammered at
We did a
Christmas.
scary Christmas episode. is what
Scary
you're saying.
champagne Christmas.
That was scary champagne Christmas was fun.
I do remember. We tried. I think last year we tried to record a scary episode, and you, Chris Ray, got quite uppity about it because it ended up going out like mid-November or something like that.
That
Like,
does sound like something I would do.
I don't remember this conversation at all. I think I checked out. I was just asleep or something.
well, the thing is, you don't really engage. You just bring the talent. And
I
then
just
then
show up.
You leave. Yeah.
The problem I've got is that I don't listen to this podcast.
No,
And
God,
therefore
no.
I don't know what's gone out.
No, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I am really
concerned.
concerned. I think I've said this on air before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm concerned that we're going to loop and do a hate or a love that we've done before. Particularly me doing one of my own.
Do.
We probably.
Oh, you think it's already happened?
I think it's already
We've-
happened. Yeah.
We've certainly covered similar ground.
Yeah. I was thinking.
Oh, for sure. We've done the same genres of hate,
Yeah.
I reckon. And we've ended up saying similar things, like talking about the same sort of
But
subjects.
surely that's actually quite encouraging because it means that we're not quite as hate-filled as we thought.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I find different ways to hate the same thing.
Well, maybe that's treading water.
Many
maybe,
angles.
Maybe that's revisiting old territory. I don't know. Oh, pardon me.
That's a burp. Another
no
one.
worries.
No, I suppressed it because I'm a professional.
Sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we should say there appears to be some kind of bombardment going on outside. Like there are.
Yeah.
We're
It's
either
begun.
at war or the fireworks have started.
Or both.
Or both.
Or both.
They
It
might
could, it
launch-
could be at the same time.
They could be launching fireworks to celebrate the start of war.
Yes. Like they did in biblical times.
Indeed. I'm pretty sure that's how celebrations work.
Well, speaking of, I mean, I should say, like, oh, isn't this marvelous? Like, we've done 3 shows together again.
I think
I wasn't
this is
in the
number
last
4,
one.
isn't it?
Well, it would be number 4, but
wasn't
Chris
here.
Ray
I
wasn't
wasn't
here
here.
last week.
I wasn't
Yeah,
here.
that was the one you weren't here for. It was so much better.
Well, I listened to the first 5 minutes because you were talking about me.
Well,
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
you
right.
stopped, so I switched off.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
yeah, there's a very different energy in the room.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Liz said it was less vulgar than usual,
Yes.
so that's
That's
fine.
probably
I'll take
fucking
it.
true, actually.
I'll take it. You dick. Yeah.
Yeah, it had a certain. It ended up being a lot more wholesome. Like we
Yeah,
ended up
less
talking.
vulgar,
We ended up
exactly.
talking about things we genuinely liked rather than just like an afterthought.
Yeah, Liz said there was a lot of things about gaming and things like that.
Well, we took advantage of the fact you weren't here.
Which I would have needed
Yes.
to have been explained to me and would have taken far longer had I been here.
It's like talking to like an elderly relative
Yes.
who doesn't really understand things.
Yeah, it's like trying to explain Fortnite to my grandma, that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
genuinely, that would probably not take as long as explaining it to me.
Sure, okay, fine. But
What
either
is
way,
Fortnite?
I don't actually know, to be honest. Either way, we can't keep that sort of energy up. It's got to go back to this.
No,
it's
it's
got
got
to
to-
go back to the lowest common denominator
Yeah.
bullshit that we normally churn out, I think.
I think so.
think
Otherwise,
so.
what the hell am I doing here?
Well, also, it's kind of like a birthday episode.
Is it?
Number 70.
Number 70, 70.
7-0 double figures.
So if we
I was
we
annoyed
did
that I
it,
missed episode 69, if I'm honest.
well, yeah, and it's
Oh, yeah, we really wasted that.
We really wasted the vulgarity of that number.
it should be like episode 68.5 or something like that.
It could have really confused people because we were introducing episode 69 and the ladies were on it. That could have really thrown some spanners into the works there. But luckily,
I bet it wasn't even referenced.
It wasn't.
No, and we
wasn't.
Very upsetting.
And we almost got away without referencing it and taking the moral high ground, and yet here we are,
Here we are dwelling on it.
Yeah.
shining a light on it once again. Yeah.
Well, we can make up for it on this one.
Yeah,
69 plus 1.
2 times the vulgarity.
Yes, let's double it.
To make up for
Let's double it.
Anyway,
today.
yes, sorry I wasn't here last time, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to be, so...
well, it's fine, and it's really kind of like it indicates just how integral you are to the structure that we went ahead without you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, it's all right. Yeah. I mean, give the people what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm back,
Yes.
whether you like it or not.
I'm going to take my shirt off, by the way.
Oh, hello.
I'm very warm.
Here we go.
It's actually surprising to see you in a shirt.
Yeah,
you
well.
know.
Nick's very well dressed because he comes straight from a business meeting.
I gave him a business meeting.
business
meeting. I had a briefcase. I didn't.
Is it made of Velcro? It sounds like you're peeling it.
That's my skin. That's how I attach a shirt to myself. There we go. Topless now. Much better.
Did it go well? Can you speak about it on air?
I can't go into details, but it went well.
No
Yeah.
details.
Did you secure many arms deals?
So many.
Oh, no!
I've got a couple more arms now.
Yeah.
So that's
Brilliant.
good.
That's
Good.
classic.
Yeah.
Went to a very rich man's house and saw a lot of his house and his Aston Martin.
Did he know you were in there, or
Well, he
Is this
found
what
out.
you-
He
is-
found out at the end.
He
shall we
did,
say.
he did when he was throwing them out.
this is what you call it a meeting? Nick, that's a funny mask you're wearing.
That's COVID, mate.
Should we enjoy like each other's company while we can? Because there might be we could be recording remotely.
There is talk of it all cracking down again next week, isn't it?
Who knows?
Or
Who
tomorrow or
cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? We might be, we might not be. Screw it, let's just crack on.
Yeah, let's just celebrate the traditional way by coughing into the same hanky
Yeah.
and passing it around the table. You know.
It's just as well I don't raise my voice on this podcast, because otherwise spittle would be flying everywhere.
Hey, don't look at me.
We're deliberately sat at different angles, though, like tangents.
We
So
are,
if
yes.
you scream now, it'll just hit.
It will
like,
hit
the wall.
Terry Pratchett framed print over there.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you only lick
Which is
twice
fine.
a week.
Yeah, John doesn't lick that very often.
Yeah, it's more like a moisture farmer. I just like to
Yeah.
scrape it down once
It's
a day.
just to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
great.
Plus, I don't think I have it, as far as I know.
Well,
Ooh, I
yeah.
hope you don't.
Well,
right
the
here.
reason I wasn't here previously in the last
Previously.
episode,
you
on a show
can
called
you
Hate.
can you tell us?
I can tell you.
Oh,
you already know this.
No, I don't.
I was at a wedding.
Yeah. You
Oh,
told
okay.
us that.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was on the weekend though.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
No, but my point is, we recorded.
Oh,
on
I was
Thursday.
sorry. Yes, yeah. Beg your pardon. I was going down to London very early the Friday,
I see.
so
And you had to get the drinking in before.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
oh,
you
you
know,
got it.
yeah.
And I was at a wedding in Ramsgate in Kent on the Saturday,
I think.
which took place in a marquee in a golf club and was limited to, I think it was 28 people were there,
Okay.
which it was fine.
Good.
It was good.
Cool.
Wedding, but smaller.
Indeed.
That's all it was.
Pocket wedding.
I wouldn't recommend it unless you're happy to have fewer than 30 people. If you are, then just do it.
Yeah.
Although it's 15 now. Because the Monday after that wedding, it went
Really?
down to 15 at a wedding, which is just pointless.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, at this point, it's basically like a house party.
you can still have it, but it's
you still have it, but and a reception, but it can only be 15 people.
Yeah. I mean,
I would struggle with that, seeing as
Maybe-
our wedding list is currently 125.
how do you know that many people?
Oh, I'm very popular.
You are very popular.
I'm surprisingly popular.
I mean, I know you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you ever work? Do you ever work?
You're on my wedding list. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Do-
that's
do
the
you-
first I've heard of it.
Do you ever work?
Oh, you're on there.
Do you ever worry that the only reason so many people RSVP'd yes is because they're finally going to collect? You know.
Probably. The debt.
You
This
know.
is this is the chance.
Well, I've got to buy dinner for all these people.
You do?
It's worth pointing out.
yes.
And lunch, probably.
Do you have a backup plan, which is maybe like us sitting in a field? Like,
Well, there is a field at the back of my house.
That is true.
Which
That is true.
I only residents have access to.
Who does that field belong to?
It belongs to the local school. And I'm glad you asked, John. Um,
I'm not.
but we're allowed to use it for free because we apparently help its upkeep. I don't.
Well, your dog
Really?
shits in it.
The dog shits in it,
mean,
but I
that's-
clear that up.
Oh.
Usually.
That's just the cycle of life.
It's
Yeah.
the yeah.
It belongs to the school at the end of your road.
Oh, Rowanfield. Oops.
Oh, no.
But not that rowing field.
No.
It's,
Yeah.
Rowan Field in Essex.
it's a different rowing field.
Don't Google it. I live nowhere near there.
But next door to us had their wedding out there.
Really?
Yeah, out the field at the back. Just they had a marquee out there.
It's almost like a.
It could happen, but I don't think I'd be able to fit 125 people into a small marquee.
Well,
in a small field.
Get a big one.
Well,
That's a good idea.
Wish
I'd thought of that. Damn it.
your thinking is outdated.
Yeah.
Can't fit him in a marquee.
Well,
so
I could.
don't do a marquee.
There you go.
I could get
Nature's
multiple
tent.
marquees and put 30 people in each.
You
could social distance each of the marquees.
Yeah.
What if you
Done.
just
Easy.
invited everyone to bring their own one-person tent with them,
Yeah.
and kind of like
that'd probably do it.
human centipede style, just connect all the
Yeah.
tents together?
Yeah, that'd probably do it.
What if you had 4 weddings on the same day?
And a funeral.
Well, hopefully not, but
Oh.
you never know.
But yeah,
4 separate
play
weddings.
cards,
Write a
right?
movie about that.
Because each wedding could be 30 people max.
Sure.
And then you could just move on to the next day.
I'd still have to cut out 5 people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure we can cut the slack. I know a few people you could probably...
How much distance has to be between 2 weddings before they are counted as 2 separate weddings?
Yeah, exactly. 2 meters.
It's a good question.
But it's my point. Like,
These are the important questions.
Could we
you've
not
gotta ask.
like go through? Could we have like 3 sham weddings
But then,
alongside?
this is
then
what
the
I'm saying.
30
Yeah.
people includes the bride and groom, so people would actually need to be getting married who are on my guest list. So we need to find couples who are together but not married.
I get BBC Two on the line.
Yeah, no worries.
I can think of.
We can pitch this.
I can think of 3.
Seriously, like that's a game show. That's like a modern reality show.
Say yes
like,
to the mess. There we go.
4 weddings, and then whoever loses gets shot, and there's a funeral.
yes.
There you go. 4.
Oh, so they're competitive weddings.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we'll call it 4 weddings and a shotgun.
So how do you lose at wedding?
Your wedding is the least
Fun.
raucous.
You get
Okay,
married.
yeah.
You get married, but it's more like a marriage of convenience. I mean, you spend the next 50 years kind of like silently resenting each other. Yeah,
yeah.
you never bring it to a head, but
But
you
you're,
always-
but
Yeah.
you're glad you won that paperclip on the game show.
yeah, and every evening when you're sitting in silence in your lounge, you can just stare at that paperclip statue.
Yeah.
And then on your deathbed, Claudia Winkleman will turn up and say, "You did really well.
Yeah.
You know, let's look how you did." And
But-
we'll see like
Sorry
Was
to
it-
say,
she'll
you're
just
not
say,
today's
was it worth it? That'll be the end of the series.
no.
And then it won't be broadcast until after all the participants have died, and therefore
Yeah.
cannot be prosecuted for breaking lockdown rules.
Indeed.
There you go.
Okay, well that's done then.
That's
Good.
fine.
Well, that's a
So
game
we
show.
solved that one.
Wonderful.
I'm fascinated by like you have like this private magical field behind
Yes,
your
it is very magical.
yeah, where essentially the law cannot touch you.
No.
Like it is a
No.
If it's
Well,
private
the gates are locked
yeah.
always.
So it's the law of the playground probably out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
you know, stick in the mud sort of rule.
I love it.
At the start of lockdown, because obviously kids live in some of these houses. I know.
What?
No, tell me. And one kid came out and he started talking to Daisy, my dog. And then he
He's an
started
idiot.
talking
Dogs
to me,
can't
but he was
talk.
standing right by me, and I was like, "How do I run away from this child in fear of catching a virus? Leave me alone!" Ah!
If you kick that child's square in the sternum,
Yeah.
no court in
I
the
wish I
land
had now.
would convict you.
No,
I wish I had.
because you're on no man's land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love
Lawless, barren wasteland that it is.
This is kind of like the weird thing I love about UK land laws, like property laws, like because technically everything belongs to the Queen anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
In
Oh,
this
she
bus-
could come and she could probably unlock the gate if you. Really
That's my
wanted to.
point. Yeah,
She has
like,
the key.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Round
So.
her neck.
She's got like a magic key for everything.
Yeah.
she's got like a little jangle. She's always
Yeah.
got like a massive key.
30
She's
million
al-
keys
She's
around
always
her neck.
packing, isn't she, the Queen?
So I love like arcane like old British laws where like you could, because this is technically
Aren't you like allowed to kill your step uncle on a Monday with a crossbow?
That sort of
legally?
thing.
Yeah, something
in a
like that,
graveyard
yeah.
in
Yeah.
Cornwall.
Yeah.
But you could have like a massive rave. You could have 200 people at your wedding if you wanted on this private land.
Yeah.
COVID be damned.
that'd be good.
And when the police turn up, you could say like, as long as you're holding like a switch of willow above your head, you go like I claim
Not breaking the law.
I claim the law of Valet, and they go, oh fuck, he's done it again.
Yeah.
You clever
that-
bastard.
The third fillet of this week.
We should really get someone to look into that.
Repeal it. You can't
Yeah.
repeal it. It's written on vellum. It's nailed to a cathedral in Hereford. We can't.
It's chiseled into the Queen's shin bone. You can't just undo that.
For the record, I don't think there are any special laws on that piece of land. But
That
I
we
will
know
look it up.
of.
But I will look it up because I keep mowing a path from my house into that field, which I'm not
No.
Oh,
sure I should do.
That's
No,
that's
do you?
upkeep.
Yeah, well, I got a strimmer, So I take my strimmer
You love
out.
that strimmer.
I
don't
love
you?
the strimmer.
Yeah.
It's great.
You've mentioned it before.
So I strim a path
So I kind of
from my house to the field.
So when you said that, I kind of pictured you like the brave little toaster, like heading out into the countryside with his friend, the Hoover, I think.
Yeah.
But it's actually just you on a lawnmower. I'll be back. I don't know when.
Into
Heading
the
off.
sunset.
Because it's quite overgrown by my fence, so I just cut a little path.
Well, it's a field, isn't it?
But yeah.
Yeah.
The field is not overgrown because someone maintains it. I don't know who.
So
There's sometimes a truck out there. I don't know.
So someone maintains it, but you guys get credited for the upkeep somehow.
I don't know. That's what someone told me. It might be bollocks.
Maybe they
I might be
haven't-
breaking the law every time I go out.
But here's
there.
my thing: the law of Valais or whatever. They haven't come and collected yet.
No.
Like you say
I mean,
that.
if I'm not allowed out there, then my God, I've got some debts to pay. Because
that's
I've
my
been out
point.
there hundreds of
But
times.
you have a gate that literally opens from the bottom of your garden, opens into the field.
Into the field.
I think that gives you legal rights to the land. I think that's
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
Well,
You
we
got
all
a
know
gate?
if you can bury a brick at every corner of the
One of
field,
your house bricks. That
Yeah.
has to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I knock down part of my house,
Then we know
bury it
it's-
in the field.
Yeah.
And then technically,
But you have to
I'm allowed
whisper
there.
one word from a 4-word sentence into each brick.
Okay.
So the whole sentence exists across the 4 bricks. You have to bury each of those in the corner, then you own that land. That's how it
fine.
works. I
Fine.
think.
I mean, you complete the ceremony by standing in the dead centre of a field and anointing yourself naked with a body of open scroll,
Yeah.
a body of Yesider,
Yeah.
and the fact
Well,
is,
I have done that.
That's my point. You have, ironically, you have actually completed most
Yeah.
of the ceremony.
Yeah, you weirdly just,
I just didn't know about
just
it.
by chance.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
really,
yeah.
really cool.
These are just things I happen to do every day.
Yeah.
I remember years ago when I was looking at universities.
Oh, sure.
When I was but a child, but a boy pretending to be a man.
Indeed, like now.
My mom took me to visit Liverpool University,
no.
which is where her and my dad went to university. That's where they met. And
It's a nice story. It's a pity you said "oh no" at the
so
beginning.
I've ruined that.
So around viewing the university, she was like, "I'll show you some of the old places we used to go." So we'll go down this country lane that we used to know. So bear in mind, she hadn't been back to university in like 20 years or something like that. So we're driving down like this country lane, and like there's a car ahead of us.
Oh right.
And it kind
I
of
think
like
you say abandoned. She's like, That's my old car.
Burnt out.
So
Burnt out,
there was this car ahead of us, and it had kind of like pulled over to the side of a road, and we didn't really think anything of it, and we kind of just pardon us, overtook that car.
Sure.
And Mom's like saying, "Oh, we used to drive down here all the time. This was like a shortcut and everything." It's changed a lot since my day. And as we're driving, we come to a metal fence
Brilliant.
above the road, across the road.
Yeah.
Which is like just this is a dead end. You just it's like, oh, that's new. That didn't used to be a dead end.
I'll just drive through it.
I guess we'll have to turn
It's
around.
like these roads have changed in the 2
I know.
decades since I was
So
here.
because I guess we'll have to turn around and go back.
Right.
And as we turn around and go back, we find another metal fence,
Brilliant.
padlocked.
What? You're trapped in now.
We're trapped.
Great
now.
stuff.
We're trapped on a stretch of road which is maybe like half a mile long, and that car which had been pulled over, the gate was open, and we couldn't
they
see the
closed it.
gate because the car
He's
was
blocked it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're
nuts.
trapped. They're like, and we're
And you're still there now.
Well,
You're
we're
recording
still-
from there.
Oh no! my hands disintegrate. Yeah. But no, and we were totally trapped on this now private road. It turns out.
Oh, well done,
That's a
Mama
shocker.
Lock.
How
Yeah.
did you get out?
I had to walk down a very long driveway into some kind of country estate
Right.
Nice.
and kind of say hello.
Made a terrible mistake. And they said, that's right, you
sure
have.
Get off my land.
And they had to. Well, they didn't let me come any closer. Actually, I remember them saying, "You wait here." I'm like, okay.
You're wearing the mask again, weren't you?
Yeah. And someone went and got. Someone went and got a key and then let us out. It was very unusual. Yeah.
Oh. Weird.
Well, I'm going to get a beer.
Yeah.
And then we should
now
get,
what?
We should get on to the topic in hand, I imagine.
What's that?
The
That's
thing is, we
right.
have a format on this show.
I remember vaguely,
Do
yes.
you? It has been a while for you.
It's been a month. But yes, I think I remember vaguely that
So
I
we
have
talk-
to say something I don't like.
That's right.
So very much.
Yeah.
And then that I do like so very
But
much.
wait first
Wait
before
for-
you
I
do
don't-
that.
I won't
one.
do them both at the same time.
More than like 2/3 of the crew are sitting at the table. That's more than people who aren't at the table getting beer. You could have started.
We could have started.
And yet we didn't.
It's interesting that we didn't.
And yet we still haven't. Here we are.
And we're talking about the fact we haven't started now.
Who's got hate?
This could go on for ages.
Who's got a hate?
John, without the presenter, this whole structure falls apart.
Tell me about it. 70 episodes in. You think I don't know that? Who's got a hate?
Oh, go on then.
Okay.
I'll do one if
thank you.
want.
Yeah, if you would.
Since you've asked now.
Yeah, it should be you, really.
My hate is Vox Pops.
Okay.
Now, if for those of you who are listening and don't know what a Vox Pop is,
I think I know.
it's short for Vox Populi.
Oh, no,
which is the Latin for voice of the population.
Okay.
It's basically when interviewers go around and interview people on the street.
Oh, I do know then.
That's what a Vox Pop is. And if there's one group of people I don't want to hear from, it is groups of people on the street. Any of them.
People like you and I who have a podcast.
Twitter is basically a worldwide version of a Vox Pop.
That's true.
And it's a fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah, that's true.
So every time I see one of these things on the news, I just want to scream. Particularly after the Brexit vote, they were interviewing people like, "Oh, hello there, sir. What do you think of the upcoming problems, the economic problems and import and export problems that may arise from the Brexit negotiations?" Well, he says,
You're getting into character.
I think we could do a go without for a while. I think people have got too much easy for too long, and I think we should all just go without. But that's not what you actually voted for people to go without. You didn't vote for it so people could go without basics like food and water.
Is it? But
You can't interview the general public because they're stupid.
do you have any? What's riled you up recently? Are there any other examples?
Oh, so many of them riled me up. I mean, I'll go back even further. I'll go back to my first memory of a Vox Pop. Which was on Auntie's Bloomers, weirdly. If you remember the BBC show Auntie's Bloomers, which was a bloopers show.
Indeed, I do.
And someone was interviewing a kid, and I remember his name weirdly. His name was Glenn. And they were like, I don't know why I remember it.
Wonder what
I remember it
Glenn's
so...
doing
It's like your first memory.
It might be. I remember it so clearly, and ever since then I've sort of hated just
Glenn.
people talking.
Just Glenn.
And they went, "Oh, I'm here with Glenn. Glenn, what do you think of the chocolate factory?" Because they were at a chocolate factory.
Oh, well, that
And
makes
he
sense.
went, "I think it's crap." And that was the whole clip on Auntie's Bloomers. And
Glenn, you legend.
I remember thinking at the time, Christ, you just can't talk to people, can you? People are just the worst.
But it's like this is the thing. Like collectively, people
People are awful. I've said it before and I'll say it
Yeah.
again. People are awful.
In small groups or individually, humans can be quite smart. Collectively, we are absolute idiots.
The problem is, news crews have to go around and get a rounded view.
Or attempt to.
Which means they'll go around and get a view of someone who's, let's say, mildly sensible. Then they have to go find someone who's outrageous. Who's saying something like completely the opposite. Because it's a rounded view.
That's what they think constitutes an unbiased rounded
And it's
view.
just, some of the things people say. Even after, again, it's Brexit. A lot of it's Brexit. They said to the government, "Hi, I understand you voted to leave the European Union. Why was that?" Oh, well, I didn't actually think it would win. It was just a protest vote. I mean, there's two fucking options. There's one option and then another.
Please keep punching the table. It's wonderful.
It's good for sound. It adds drama.
Yeah,
to
it's adding
proceedings.
gravitas.
But I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, you might as well ask a table. Like,
Yeah,
you might
it's
as well.
crazy.
And I don't mean that because like the general public is stupid. I mean it because
But a lot of them are.
yeah.
A lot of us
A
are.
lot
We
of us
general
are.
public.
Yeah, we are.
Us are.
Genuinely, but it's like,
Particularly
as you
when
say,
put on the spot.
you might have an issue.
Yeah, that's true.
You might have an issue which is like, it's very complex. A lot of the things in the world are
But don't
very
go asking Joe Public.
Exactly.
I think
Ask an expert.
I think that's what pisses me off about it, is the idea that they are going out of their way to ask questions beyond the ken of those that they're asking. So they say something to little old Doris on the street who can only hear 1% of what you're saying. And they go, "What do you think about the economic upheaval that Brexit's inevitably going to bring to the United Kingdom?" And she heard 2 words from that, and she just goes, "Yeah!" And that's all you get.
Yeah.
They ask deliberately knowing that they're asking a more complicated question than the person can answer.
But also the format, as you say, is a Vox Pop. It's not called a Vox interview.
No.
They want like a
one
little snippet.
They want.
So if
That's
They're
it.
like 10-second comments of just, let's say, 3 different people. They go, oh, what do you think about this new, let's say, W.H. Smith's opening in Doncaster? I don't know.
What?
And then when someone will go, I think it's very good for Doncaster. Yes, I think all the stationery that will be available for our children will be a great benefit to us in the future.
And I need more pens.
And then the second person will go, well, I think it's an outrage. I like the shop that was here before.
It's all porn.
Even if
I
it
got
was a
all my
brothel,
porn.
I don't care what it was. It was good the way it was, and I don't like change in my town.
But this is it, right? So they think
So that's a rounded view.
to get a rounded view, they have to hunt out the negative point of view.
Yeah.
What if there isn't one? Or what if the majority is that everyone thinks that W.H. Smith is a good thing? No, we've got to find that negative voice. And then it's depicted as though it's 50-50.
But
Exactly,
and it wouldn't happen though, would it?
No, it wouldn't.
Because again, a film crew on the ground, if they ask 5 people and all of them were like, "Yeah, this is great,"
I love W.H.
they'd
Smith.
have to go out of their way to, as you say, to find
They
that
have to
extra
find that
person.
sensationalist fucking bullshit.
I was at a football match once.
You've never spoken about
No.
this before. This is blowing
At
my mind.
one football match. I was at Ipswich. I know the game. I was at Ipswich v Nottingham Forest.
Glenn was playing.
Oh, I
Glenn
remember
was
it. I remember it. Yeah, followed his career
And
closely.
they said afterwards, Glenn, what did you think of the game? He said, I think it was crap.
He's right. He's always
But they
right.
were doing, because I think the Ipswich manager was under pressure for the sack.
Oh,
At the
shit.
time.
Oh, no.
So they went around doing vox pops with people. Oh, I don't think he's a disgrace. I think he needs to be sacked. And the guy actually announced, the reporter, is there anyone here who thinks the manager should stay? And nobody did. And this kid just went, I'll say it if it gets me on the news. And
See, there you go. You've perfectly summed it up. That's appalling.
But then I thought,
Makes me
I'm
sick.
going to stay here and watch this and see what he says.
Okay, yeah.
And they went, so the interviewer starts recording. He goes, oh, so you think the guy's name was Jim Magilton, the manager? You think Jim Magilton?
That's a fake name.
No, it's not.
That's definitely made up.
You think Jim Magilton goes, oh yeah, good manager.
So he didn't.
That was his whole comment, which definitely didn't make it onto the news.
Why do they go to the effort of re-recording vox pops for any issue?
Yeah.
Because it's always the same.
Yeah.
One person going, "This is great," and another person going, "Yeah, it's an outrage."
Yeah, that's it. That's all they are. They're completely pointless, and it just digs up the worst people you can find.
This isn't quite the same, but in that thing where you get like that where they have to present like a false balance to everything.
Sure.
And I remember listening to years ago when I still listen to the radio, and there was something about like, are foxes coming to attack your children in central London? Like that was honestly like the whole thrust of it. It's like,
Are they?
gosh, like urban foxes are getting bigger, and there's been a story in the Daily Mail about how a fox ran quite close to a pram, and the mom was terrified, and there's a photo of her looking like like shaking her head, and there's the pram like and an arrow next to it. And so, in the interest of a balanced argument, they brought on onto the radio.
They put on the fox, yeah.
Frankly, I don't know what the fuss was about. That pram came quite close to me, actually.
Just because I want to eat a child every now and then isn't anything to be worried about.
But they bring in it was something like a fox had run into someone's house.
Oh no.
And that was like, my baby. It came from my baby. And so to debate this issue,
this is the same sort of people who interviewed. Someone went to the news with that.
yes,
The news weren't there waiting for the fox to come into the house.
Yeah.
Someone had that happen to them and went, well, I'm going to go to the news.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
well, something to do, isn't it? You know,
And why did they run it?
something to in between fox attacks. You know? But so they bring on and now we have Mark Derbyshire. He's a leading ecologist.
name.
He's studied foxes for years. He won the David Attenborough Award for conservation science. Great. Thank you for having it.
Yeah.
And we have Janet, a concerned mother.
Yeah, it is.
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
and this is now a balanced point of view. Yeah.
And basically you go, Janet, what do you think about this spate?
Yeah,
There's been
one fox in a house.
Barely
Yeah.
one. What do you think about this spate?
Barely one?
Spate of rabid fox attacks. And she's like, I'm very worried indeed. It makes me want to board up my windows. How can people sell patio doors in good conscience in this environment? I'm terrified. I live in constant fear. And then the other guy goes like, well, I'm sorry, but the stats just show this has never happened. It never happened. Believe me, there's a substantial body of research, incredible statistics, and it's shown that it has never happened. And Janet just goes, Well, I disagree.
Well, that's all well and good, but it happened to me. And that's a logical point of view.
And this is like my Glenn memory. Like this is like, I remember this because we got into an argument. The guy's like, it just doesn't happen, and she's like, that doesn't reassure me. I'm worried.
They should.
Foxes only eat onions, Janet. They only eat onions.
I remember I've been on the other side of it as well. Which was interesting. I did a scheme when I was younger called BBC Blast.
Okay.
Which was basically a program for young would-be reporters being placed at their local BBC radio station.
Okay.
Or whatever. So I went on this course to like introduce me to like everyone from every region went to the one location, which I think was Birmingham. I can't remember. And we did a course for 2 days to like introduce us to the basics of working in a radio station with the BBC. So we were doing radio training, and they were saying, right, so what you might need to do is go out and do vox pops. And I obviously already knew what they were. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Here we go. So
this is you age like 10.
This was me. I think it must have been 17. I guess.
Oh, okay. Like you were a young man.
But you already hated vox pops at this point.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And he's quite hungover as well.
I was always.
I actually was. We'd been out the night before. So we started playing some, and they were terrible. They were just awful. And he goes, well, you think those are bad? They're much better than the time one of the students went out, and because he was so shy about interviewing people, he did all the vox pops himself, putting on different voices, and came back, and it was just so obvious that he was doing it. They didn't play it for us, but
that's outstanding.
He told me that had happened.
That was probably Glenn.
Because he just couldn't approach anybody.
Where did it begin?
Vox popping.
Where did this creep in?
Well, it's probably always been there. If it comes from a Latin
but the
phrase.
Yeah, no.
Latin's been around for years, John.
No, yeah, I know.
Like 15 years it's been around. Latin.
Easily.
Old Pythagoras did not have a film crew, is what I'm
No, but yeah, all right. Well, we're talking specifically about television. Well, they were doing it in... Like, Monty Python took the piss out of vox pops, for example, in the 70s,
So I'm
going to Google it
I get that, like, up until then, the news may have seemed a bit dry.
Yeah.
You know, like,
we need a bit of liveliness in the
human interest.
In the news.
Yeah. But
people are wrong.
Yeah.
Surely someone's figured that out by now.
Well, they are mostly. I mean, this is what I don't,
Next time you're watching the news, listener, just watch. There'll be a vox pop on any newscast you would care to watch, and just see what the three people say, and one of them will just be something so unbelievably stupid.
Yeah. There's the positive response, the negative response, and the idiot response.
And then the one that's just so out there.
But this is my point, like, why even bother? Because if you know one person's going to be positive, one's going to be negative, and one's going to be just clueless, like, it's the same.
This all comes down to the ultimate question, which is, who cares what people think?
Yeah.
Not me.
I don't want...
I'd rather the guy gave me some facts and show me a chart that proves his facts, and that's fine. And then we just go, oh, this is Steve Jones for BBC News, back to you at the studio. Fuck the people.
I love that song.
I don't need to hear what they think about these conclusive stats.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
The earliest I can find is 798.
There you go.
But
Latin is really old, John, I'm telling you.
That's the earliest reference to the expression Vox Populis.
John's not having it.
Well,
Vox Populi, sorry.
Well, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to pick at that. That's fine.
It's all right.
Let it go.
That was.
So there it is, really.
Blackadder, I think.
I don't know what else I can do or say to prove my point.
No, I agree with you completely. It's garbage.
People are awful, and you should watch your backs.
It plays into a greater hate, which is the media, and
people.
I'm sort of done, and then a greater one again. I think we've talked about this before about how we need to create like genuses of hates, and we're starting to create like families of hates because a lot of your hates, Chris, not to put you on blast here, but a lot of them end up that you just don't like people, which is fine.
My Venn diagram is basically just circles overlapping one another, like really closely.
But I like the idea of like the animal kingdom, like a tree that gradually breaks down.
Taxonomy,
shall we say?
Taxonomy. Yes,
that is the word, in fact. Yes. We should do that for hates, and at the very top, it's just people, and then it's split down into like.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to do a chart that shows what roughly our hates have been about. I think mine will be quite a lot of people.
Well, we should make,
and rightly so.
This has often been an idea in the back of my head. We should make a book called Hate.
Oh, that's what content creators do, isn't it? After a while, they make a book.
After you've run out of ideas.
After you've run out of ideas,
you make a book.
A book called Hate.
Okay.
By a show called Hate.
Oh yeah.
A podcast about love. And that'll be.
I like it.
Like
It sells itself,
It
doesn't
sells
it?
itself.
I would
yeah.
buy that book.
Yeah.
Not only because I'm.
Well, I would get a free copy, hopefully.
Wow.
I'd like to think this
wouldn't-
could be your step up into the big leagues, and you
Sure.
could be a co-junior assistant writer.
Maybe less.
Junior vice president.
I have a hate.
Oh, I'll get a beer while you're
Hey
explaining.
John, tell
it.
us your hate.
Do you want a beer?
No, I won't because I've got
Have you got a beer?
to take it easy
No, because Nick's he's performing liver surgery tomorrow.
on myself.
Oh god.
You better slow down if you're going to have that liver transplant tomorrow.
I hate Wikipedia articles about alien abductions and UFO sightings.
Wow. Okay. I wouldn't have imagined there was more than one. So like
Well,
UFO sightings, the Wikipedia page.
well, my point is, you may have already hit the nail on the head there, Nicholas.
Oh,
Please get more of it on the surface.
Chris is covered. Chris is covered in beer.
Is this...
Do it the other way.
I think you missed a bit. Listen,
That's it. That's better.
Listener, for your benefit, I have a wall-mounted
Bottle opener.
bear head, like a wrought iron bear
It's
head,
like the jaw of a bear.
into which you
Very
can
complicated system.
put a beer bottle and just rip it, like so good.
Like, so
Like,
radical.
It's like, crank it right. And
This wouldn't be happening if we weren't in the kitchen.
I know.
It's your fault, John.
If we were,
It's your fault for putting the kitchen here, John.
this is please. Oh my
He's
god!
turned on the hob. Oh no! Oh, it's on fire. Oh, he's on fire now.
Does it turn off on its own?
God willing, yeah. This is great audio. We should do this again.
Hey, John, your hob sounds like a Tamagotchi.
We have the same hob, do we not?
No, yours is slightly different. I think yours is slightly more advanced. You have that area. I don't have that.
Well, my oven hasn't exploded, whereas yours
yeah, exactly. So-
has, notably.
slightly
Anyway,
better than yours.
Anyway,
Anyway,
thank you, Chris. That was wonderful
That
audio.
was seamlessly done.
It's a shame that I'll fix that all in post, and no one will have heard any of that.
No.
sure.
Well, I think that'll be fine.
Are you done?
I'm done.
I mean, you talk like a poet, but you move like a landslide.
Yeah.
I don't know how you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Something about Wikipedia.
like I was saying, I hate Wikipedia articles about alien abductions and UFO encounters.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, a bit of context. I like reading Wikipedia articles.
Oh, sure.
I do this a lot.
Okay.
Like, I do it a lot.
Well, you're very well read, John. It's a compliment.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
if reading Wikipedia counts.
Well,
which-
if reading Wikipedia articles is the modern day equivalent of actually learning things, then
yes,
you
are learned.
I'm a deeply learned man.
Learn. I believe it's pronounced learned.
learned
And I actually spend a lot of my time reading slightly more sordid areas of Wikipedia. I read a lot.
What counts as sordid?
The dark Wikipedia pages.
Yeah, kind of like the grime of mankind. So like murders,
Box pops.
Nice.
serial killers. That's that sort of thing. Murders and serial. What have you done to my oven?
I don't know. It's beeping.
It's beeping away.
Murders and serial
Sure, it'll be
killers.
fine.
Unexplained phenomena.
Oh yeah.
Spooky
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I like
Perfect
reading,
for
I
this
like
month.
reading about
I
stuff
like
this.
reading this stuff,
I like
yeah.
reading about this stuff.
Yeah. So my point is, like, I like this stuff. Do I believe in it? No, because I believe the world is a cold clockwork affair, and the flavouring of ghosts, hauntings, gogs, wonders, fairies, and all that is the human seasoning that we put on it. We make it interesting.
Oh, that's very well put. I like
Thank
that.
Very
you.
eloquent, John.
We make it interesting because of our crazy brains. We do-
Creative
You can
mind.
Yeah.
tell he's read a lot of Wikipedia, can't you?
Yeah.
The
Well,
way
thank
he
you, yeah.
speaks.
He's read the Wikipedia article on creative writing.
So like I like falling down a Wikipedia hole, and I particularly like reading about weird shit.
Sure.
So I there's a favorite of mine which is like unexplained disappearances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there's good Netflix shows around these sort of topics at the moment.
Yeah.
Called Unexplained Mysteries, I
Yes,
believe.
I like a mystery.
Stuff like that. I love stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and the sad truth is that there are no mysteries in the world really, because every mystery which is like, where did this person go, or was there a ghost? And the answer is he died, and no. Like I'm sorry, but it's like if you actually boil it down, it's like, and then this person, no one ever saw him again. Yeah, that's because he died.
Yeah,
I'm
he
sorry.
fully died.
Yeah, like he
Or he wanted you to think he died.
And the end result is
He died.
he died.
Eventually, eventually that's the end of everybody's
yeah,
story,
eventually
isn't it?
So it's only spooky because we don't know the details, but he didn't go to Xanadu or whatever, or Narnia or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah, so I was in one of his Wikipedia holes and I ended up reading about alien abductions
Sweet.
and UFO encounters.
I have a quick question.
Chris Ray,
Whilst
please.
you're talking about that,
Take the floor.
is there anyone who's been abducted, inverted commas, who's never come back?
Well, would we know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Sort of.
I see.
I guess.
Is there
not.
anyone who that people say have been abducted
Let me
who've
rephrase
never
that.
come back?
Let me rephrase that. So you're saying, has anyone ever disappeared?
No, well,
Full stop.
no. Obviously, the answer is yes. Disappeared in the
Are
respect
you
that
saying that maybe
they've gone
like
missing. But has anyone's family
I
come
watched
out
my
afterwards?
brother get abducted by an alien
and he's
he
never come
came
back? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a story, wouldn't it?
That'd be a hell of a
But
story.
has there ever been anything like that?
Well, one would imagine.
Okay.
Yes, but
That's fine.
But also, let's turn it on its ear ever so slightly. So you're describing a man, possibly with a gun in his trunk, describing
Probably, yes.
his brother was totally abducted by aliens, and no one else was around. Nobody saw it, but I swear he got taken up into the sky, and there's no point looking up dental
Now give me
records
$1 million.
or anything like that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is the thing with Vox Pops as well. You can't trust people.
You can't trust people. No.
Fact.
See, that comes under the genus people again.
Yeah.
You see? Hate
Indeed.
Yeah.
Ultimately, people, untrustworthy. So my point is, there are an incredible amount of Wikipedia articles about so-called UFO encounters.
Indeed.
Now, I don't want to give the impression that I'm some kind of like soulless Vulcan. Like,
Okay.
I'm not like...
a Vulcan is an alien.
Yeah, but... Whoa.
Hey,
I
come
see
on.
what you did there.
My point is, if you cut me, I don't bleed arithmetic. Like, I like this weird... I like stories. I like this weird shit.
yeah, of course, yeah.
And I like reading about spooky kind of things and being intrigued. So like a Wikipedia article about a UFO encounter, I'm like, ooh, yes.
my
why not?
interest.
Why not? Why not?
Chef's kiss.
A little soupçon of mystery. I'm going to dive in and
I'll
give it a
take
try. So there are some very, very, very detailed, shall we say, Wikipedia articles about alien abductions. And my real kind of issue with them is that I want the facts.
Sure, of course you do.
Because the
Yeah.
facts
Facts are very important.
Because the facts are where it's spooky.
Yeah.
Like if someone was like, so and so was driving home after attending a family party at 6 p.m. on Friday, and then they suddenly appeared again on like Monday morning, and it's like
Went to bed.
and I'm like, oh, what happened? It's like, or they were never found again. Like their car was found abandoned, and then they were found wandering like 50 miles away with like scorch marks on the ground, it was never explained.
It's like a story, but all you're getting is the marks the story's left
Yes,
on the world.
yes,
but
yes.
you want those marks because those are the tangible elements.
because they're real.
Yeah.
they're real.
or they could be.
And this is great. And I'm like,
According to the person.
and I'm like, this is amazing. This is fantastic. And I love this kind of stuff. But the trap that a lot of these Wikipedia articles fall into is that they go into extensive detail because this person has probably spent 50 years talking about nothing else apart from
This
the
is
time.
the whole thing that happened to them.
Yeah.
their whole life.
They will not shut up about the time they were abducted by fucking aliens. And so the Wikipedia article is so detailed about...
Presumably because they've written it. Or
One
someone
would
Or
imagine,
it's transcribed
yeah,
from
yeah.
what they said. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, so it will be something like, the article will be called something like, the Chipping Camden Encounter or something like that.
I love that movie.
My blood is already curdling.
But
when
it's
I see it.
but oh no.
I think that's scientifically bad.
My blood is good.
But then it will go like, okay, the Chipping Camden Encounter
Yeah.
relates to an unexplained UFO abduction
Sure.
that
Sweet.
took place in
Where?
the early hours.
Took place in Texas.
Texas, Chipping Camden.
That took place in southern Connecticut. But it's like, that took place in the early hours of October 10th, 1984. And I'm like, oh, yes.
Oh, here we go.
I'm
we
in.
go.
I'm
Here
in.
we go.
And then
You've got me.
the Wikipedia article will break it down. And it's like, events, aftermath, scientific response,
Yeah.
criticisms, controversy, exposure, fraud, prosecution.
Oh God! That's already the story. Like we don't need it anymore.
Well, yeah, it's like a postage stamp story there. But it's like you read the encounter, and it's always like, Daryl Haynes was driving home, late at night. It's always late at night,
Yeah.
Never in the day. No one gets abducted
never
in the day, do they?
And he's driving home late at night, and then it's like, and he saw an unusual light. I've asked what this is for. Yeah. Were you gesturing at me?
No, I was just looking at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was just reading the
reading the label on your beer. Yeah. Am I boring you?
John, I'm really excited about this story.
It just appeared to me.
Okay.
I want to know what happens to Darren.
Well, let me tell you. So he's driving home. It's a Friday night. It's late, and then he saw a strange light above him.
Shit.
And I'm like, ooh,
John's on board.
And and then there's a little voice in the back of my head is going like, it's funny how the guy who wrote this Wikipedia article was there in the car as well, because he seems to like really like know this event quite well.
Really knows it.
And then he heard like an odd sound that made his teeth vibrate. I'm like, oh, this is quite descriptive. That's a bit unusual. He goes, and then a ship landed next to him, which was like every colour and no colour at the same time. I'm like, oh, okay. You go, and then these figures descended down a ramp, and they were small, but they had big heads and extended arms, and they spoke in a language which was not a language, more like a collection of emotions, and it sounded like God.
Auras.
It sounded like God crying. It was the most unspeakably beautiful thing in the world. And then he was taken on board the ship and probed for 18 hours, and then he saw Abraham Lincoln, and then a dog spoketh backwards the books of the Old Testament, and then he woke in a field, and I'm like, hang on a minute. It's like you're describing a really meaningful dream.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gone. Like my involvement is already just. I'm like, oh, for God's sake,
It's really interesting you say this, because this is similar to hate I was thinking of bringing actually, but I'm going to say it now because it's too similar to this to not. But basically, mine was. When ghost stories get too specific.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to a podcast which is ghost stories, and people send in their ghost stories, and this woman and I think it's her husband and wife team read them out and discuss them, and it's quite good because I quite like you.
Yes.
I like ghost stories.
I like
and
stories.
There are two kinds. There was one. This is an actual story where this woman talked about a house that she'd inherited. It was in the family, and there was this weird water spirit that lived in the house. And water would sometimes...
That's called a leak.
Yeah, exactly. And this is kind of
It's
what I...
bad piping.
You can get a man
She said
for
it
that,
would
yeah.
rain indoors. I was like, it still sounds like a leak.
Yeah.
But then the story expanded and started to get out of hand, and she was talking about how there was this like ball of water floating in the middle of the room at the ceiling, and scientists came and investigated it, but the results were inconclusive. And it's like,
no.
for fuck's sake, like if there was a ball of water floating in a room, that would be huge.
The greatest scientific
Can you imagine the scientists tuning out going,
But
yes, I see that ball of water.
But
Well, that's
then-
inconclusive.
The other side is the ghost story where a mother is staying in a house with her young son, and her young son won't stop talking about the broken lady he can see at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's like, that's brilliant.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Because that's the whole story. But like this kid won't shut up about the broken lady, and the way he says it is really creepy, and you don't understand what it means. That's very good.
Red room. Red room. Well, here's the thing. I think there's an excellent Reddit thread which is about like true scary stories.
Right.
And again, anything.
But how do you know that?
But here's my point: like anything on the internet, you got to take with a pinch of salt, because everyone
Maybe a
goes like,
bottle of salt.
everyone goes like, oh, this happened. But there are tons of like Reddit threads of like scary stories.
Yeah.
People go like, and then the guy he came out of the woods, and he had like a claw hand, and he went rah, and that's like, okay, God's sake,
You've ruined it. It
not
was
scary.
good until then.
But what's great about this thread is that like the stories are so mundane,
Yeah.
that they're real.
Yeah.
It's believable.
And it's and as case in point, like people were talking about all these stories, and they were genuinely unsettling because they just have the ring of truth about them.
Yeah.
Why would you make it up?
Yeah, and it isn't like, and then the house got compressed into a cube by the poltergeist spirits. It's like, no, because they often end with like, and then I just ran home and shut the door and nothing happened. And that's kind of scarier because it's real.
Because you just ran away. You would just run away.
Because we were like reading this thread, and then this guy posts a story about like how, yeah, man, I was having a shower, and then I saw like this light like float into the bathroom, and I fell, and then like I felt like I was falling forever, and then I woke up, and it was terrifying, and I was paralyzed, and everyone's like, dude, you had a transient epileptic episode, like you need to see a doctor.
Are you still on the floor?
And everyone's like, dude, this is the wrong place to be posting this, like please.
That should be in the medical thread.
Don't see your physician.
Well, here's my point. And I think, Nick, you hit the nail on the head here. It's like, it's when you're trying to tell us a story, and then you instantly lose the audience by going into too much detail.
Like the beginning of the water story was quite good because she was talking about like there was water dripping from the ceiling, and then she went upstairs, but the bathroom wasn't above that room. There was no water up there, and it's like, okay, this is cool. This has got the flavors of mystery. But then there was a floating ball of water in the middle,
Yeah.
and it's just you went too far. It's like they go too far out of an attempt of trying to create something impossible or otherworldly, and it's like, well, it was already otherworldly in my imagination. Don't go any further than that. Just let me enjoy the meat on the bone.
That's the problem. When they've hooked people in, they think, oh, I've got them. Right, let's
now I
say
need to
something
go further.
outrageous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like ball of water. Yes, got it.
Got him.
Was that a few years ago when Lucy and I were living in like a rented house?
It's gonna be a ghost
No, it's not. It's not going to be a ghost story.
That's a shame.
But we had a landlord who was a perfectly like
Dead for 10 years.
dead for 10 years. Yeah, and he was a ghoul. But he was a nice guy. His name was Gabe, and he'd
Gabe?
Gabe.
Grave, like grave, but without the R.
That's how you know.
That's how you know he's a ghoul.
He was trying to ingratiate himself, but he was like, no, Grave's too obvious.
Yeah, I'll just take the R out.
But no, so we have this landlord called Gabe, and he came by one day. I can't remember
He always winks into the camera as well. That was the problem.
who are you looking at.
Who you winking to, Gabe? Oh, you'll never know.
Gabe knows.
But he came in, and I think it's because our boiler had been having some problems, and he ended up coming in to check on my boiler, and he stayed for like 40 minutes, and I don't know why. For some reason, we ended up talking about UFOs. I have no idea why this came up. Yeah. I kind of feel he wanted to talk about UFOs.
That's probably
he was ready.
He was ready.
Guided, and he just went like, he said, and I said something like, yeah, but I don't really believe in all that, and he goes, yeah, right, but the thing is though, my mate.
Here we go.
My mate.
This will be good.
Might settle in.
Strapping kids.
God knows we did, because we were there for like 20 minutes while he was telling this story. Strap in. And he goes, okay, so my mate and his wife and his kids, they were driving home late at night after something. It's irrelevant, I'll be honest with you.
It's late at night.
Always late at night.
We're driving home. It was late at night. And they saw this light overhead.
Here we go.
Street lamp.
And then it went away.
It went away.
And they were driving down a country lane. And then this light came back, and this light was above them.
Shit, bad.
And it was circling.
Microlight.
It's probably microlight, yeah.
Drone.
But because
Drone.
and
it could any number of things it could be.
Because but this light was circling around the car, and it was late at night, and it was dark.
Okay.
And then
Firefly.
And then the next thing you know, they were parked on a country lane.
Oh no!
And
they looked. Is it because they parked?
And they looked at their watches, and it was like 6 hours later.
Oh my god!
And they had no idea what had happened. And
drunk.
And then
kids were drunk.
And he said, and then a few days later, a couple of men came to the house.
Sure.
And they were from the government.
The government.
The government.
Right.
Yeah. And
how would the government know?
Well,
wouldn't they?
Well, they know everything, don't they?
They obviously know everything.
They sure.
And then these two men came to the house, and they were wearing like black suits.
Yeah, they
and
the shades, and they had this weird like stick thing with a flash on it.
Yeah. And then they interviewed them about what's happened.
Sure.
And they said,
"What's the point? They can't remember anything."
And then these two government guys said like, "Yeah, actually, it's really funny because we detected like a massive like radiation spike.
Okay.
Around the time you disappeared."
Just because you're scanning for radiation spikes
all the time,
planet,
all the time, yeah,
all
yeah.
The time. Cool.
And then they left.
Oh my god!
And
what sort of radiation?
God knows.
What radiates?
I don't know.
New exotic radiation.
Pixie dust. Who cares?
Surely we. I'm getting sucked in.
My point.
Surely we don't have the technology to sense alien radiation. Surely it'd be a completely different.
There's a lot of radiation all the time,
well,
like just coming from space.
Like take radio.
Maybe it was the street light burning out.
But bear in mind, Gave spent like 20 minutes telling the
I
story.
love that guy.
He managed to flesh out that story you've just told over considerably longer, I presume.
Yeah,
than you've just
and
told.
bear in mind, he's standing in the house we're renting, which we feel is like our house,
Yeah.
that he technically owns.
For
So
sure,
and
for
we're
sure,
like,
for sure.
You know, and this has been going on a long time. And then he goes like, "What?" And then they left, and we're like, and he goes, and he just like sits back like, "Hey,
What do you
What
think
do
of
you
that?
think?
And I'm like, I don't really know where to begin, Dave. Like, Gave, whatever. I don't know where to begin. It's like, yeah, and it was actually funny you mentioned that, Gave, because the other day I flew.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Can't explain it. Can't explain it. Then the government came around because they noticed weird flight activity in the area.
Yeah.
I feel like people sometimes say things and they back it up with other things that they've said. It's like, must have happened because the government guy showed up. Yeah, but that's still just another thing you said. Like, or if you're passing on exactly what you heard, that's just another thing that he said.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it any truer.
No.
There's still words coming from your mouth.
Yes.
I don't believe the first lot of words, so why do I believe the second lot?
It's not that I think you're a liar.
Gave.
It's just that I don't believe what you're saying.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's like, but yeah, you've said some incredible things, you know, and who knows, maybe they're true. However, right now there's only you
Yeah.
standing in my lounge, and I wish you'd leave, and you're just saying anything.
I had a similar situation with Ali's stepdad. He was kind of a believer in some of this stuff, and he went to a lecture from a guy who said that who claimed that he had parts from a UFO ship, and he had those parts here in front of them, and he said he saw them with his own eyes.
Sure.
Ali's stepdad said this to me. I saw these bits of metal, and I was like, oh right, well, what makes you know for sure that they're from? You know, just because you saw some bits of metal doesn't mean that you know they're from a UFO.
It doesn't mean anything.
No, and he said, well, Nick,
He's got an answer for that.
don't you worry, I'm
Dickhead.
covered.
Right.
Dickhead, yeah.
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Sit down, Nick, you twat. Right. So listen to this. The guy who was showing me the metal said he'd shown it to some scientists.
Oh,
and the scientists had scanned the metal, and that metal, get this, Nick. Shut your fucking mouth, Nick, because get ready for this. That metal can't be found on Earth. And I was like, but he just said that to you. That was just words he said to you, and now they're words you're just saying to me and presenting these words to me as proof that metal comes from a spaceship, but it's still just words.
There is absolutely no chance that a scientist would look at metal, go, "Oh, you can't find that on Earth." Anyway,
I'm going back to the office.
I'll give that back to you. All the best. See you later. There is just no chance.
The world would be on fire.
Do you feel like scientists, like, they're not all about glory? Like, every now and then they're like, no, I'll let this one go.
Yeah.
I don't really
Let me just pop that in my centrifuge.
Oh, well, this metal doesn't exist on Earth. Anyway, see you later.
No, it'd be wrong to claim that.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Hang on,
yeah.
I'm getting the readouts here. Whoa, well, look at that.
Yeah. I'll let you take that home.
Hang on.
You show that to your mates.
Yeah, you keep the printout.
Show that to your mates.
Don't worry, I don't need a copy of it. You keep the printout. It says there, just read it. It just says metal not found on Earth. There you go.
But I'm constantly fascinated by this when they go like, yeah, and that metal, it wasn't an element known to man. I'm like, no, hang on a minute.
That's impossible.
We know pretty much all the elements, and if it isn't an element known to man, then it's A, radioactive, and B, decays in like a thousandth of a second.
And turns into one of the other elements that we do know.
So it wouldn't be there.
I don't like debunking things. However,
However.
it's very important that we call out bullshitters.
Because you're ruining it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Keep your lies believable.
But this is it. Like,
Yeah.
let's loop back around here to the core of it. We love a good story.
Love a good story.
And I'm happy to enjoy a story about something I don't necessarily believe in, as long as it's told well. And what we're getting at here, what we're drilling down on here, is that we just want them to be told well.
Yes. Because there is...
Stop trying so hard with your bullshit.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying.
Because a big one is like, if you go in like UFO kind of circles, it's like planes that disappeared.
Right.
That's a big thing as well.
Sure.
So it's like in UFO circles, there are like...
Crop circles.
That's what they meet.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what causes them. Just loads of guys meeting up talking about UFOs. And then they look down. Oh my god.
no, they're like there with flip
How
chart.
have we formed this?
What is causing me? Oh no, wait.
Oh wait, Larry's just been walking in circles this whole time.
But it's like, famous disappearing flights. Like, God knows they love it.
The
when
one
they-
in Lost.
Yes,
Yeah.
and God knows they love it when a military flight disappears.
Oh, really?
Because that makes it official.
That makes it more
makes
real.
it real because the military
Just crashing into the sea.
The military wouldn't lie.
Turns out the sea is pretty big.
The sea is pretty big,
Turns out.
and it turns out there is quite a big thing that a lot of these alien abduction, plane disappearances kind of things is that they go they'll have radio transcripts, and they're always the pilot going everything is wrong, the sky is silver.
Yeah. The clouds are upside down.
The sky is silver. Nothing makes sense anymore. I don't know where I am. I tell my wife I love her.
And he's ostensibly reported this in as they're driving into the portal.
And then they're gone.
And then they're gone.
And they were never found again.
Fuck.
And it's apparently there's a very common hallucination mistake that pilots can make when they're flying over the ocean and they get incredibly disorientated. They can end up flying upside down.
Really?
This is a noted thing.
I suppose if that's the only thing you're looking at, that and the sky.
Yes,
it's difficult.
And it turns out
sometimes.
So a lot of these alien abductions are pilots going, the sky is silvery and above me, and it's
the water.
That's the water, and they all go,
whoopsie.
I'm going to try pulling up.
Oh no!
And then
I'm going to try flying up.
And they're never found again.
Yeah.
Crunch.
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
Indeed.
I learned something, I think.
It might be boring, but there's usually a perfectly reasonable explanation for everything.
Well, I don't want to hear it.
No. Well, some people don't. That's the problem. When people say, "Oh, I think they're abducted by aliens," they're saying that because they want that to be true. They're not saying it based on anything factual.
No.
They're saying it because they want that to be true because they like the idea of aliens and UFOs. And
I don't want to be heartless. I really do enjoy a good spooky story.
Oh, we all enjoy science fiction.
Yes.
And things like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah.
Things that, there's one person at this table who has quite an interest in the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, big time.
But it's up to you, listener, to work out which one.
I've probably given it away there. Yeah. There's no chance the Loch Ness Monster didn't exist at some point.
Oh, wow. I thought this was a joke that John was making, but you actually really like the Loch Ness
real,
Monster.
Oh, yeah. I'm fascinated by the Loch Ness
I've been to Loch Ness, and I took loads of pictures. I was a kid. I took loads of pictures on a disposable camera, and I got one back, and it looked like there was a little hump.
Yeah.
Why are they always so grainy?
Because it was a disposable camera.
My point is that every photo, which is an alleged sighting of the Loch Ness Monster, is incredibly low quality.
Yeah, it's the mist.
At some point in history, there must have been something living in there. I'm not saying in
you really think so?
Yeah, I'm not saying in the 1960s.
Some kind of fish.
I'm saying
what, prehistorically?
Yeah, well, prehistorically and up to and including more recent times.
That's the safest statement that anyone has ever said
Well,
ever.
there you go. I'm not saying the Loch Ness Monster is there now because it probably isn't. Because bear in mind the amount of cameras, the amount of technology we've got, you would find it.
That is,
if it was there now.
That's a classic thing, though. It's another thing that some people say, and it's like, what self-respecting scientist is going to scan the whole loch?
Thing is, the guy
no one
the
cares.
leading expert on the Loch Ness Monster looks like what you think he would.
Sure. Okay. And you think he scanned the whole loch?
He claims to have scanned the whole lot.
And has he found it?
No. That's because it's dead now.
Oh, I see. When did it die?
Oh, let's not do that.
But there should be a skeleton there, surely.
I don't know.
There should be a skeleton. There should be a skeleton there.
No, it's skeleton. Ah!
Well,
right, I was watching a documentary about the Titanic recently.
Here we go.
And it turns out human skeletons dissolve very quickly in deep water.
In acid.
I'm just going to picture
it. Turns out.
Okay.
That's what James Cameron said. Anyway.
I kind of picture you watching this documentary and a guy's got a Venn diagram and it's like Titanic, Loch Ness Monster, tapping the middle going,
Yeah.
Skeletons.
Yeah. Dissolve water. Oh, no. I think the Loch Ness Monster is a very interesting phenomenon.
Okay. No,
I went to Loch Ness 3-4 years ago. I enjoyed it. It was good.
It's a lovely place.
Yeah.
Why is it that any large body of fresh water inevitably has a monster in it?
Well, what other freshwater monsters do you know?
Well, in
John.
Canada,
here we go.
John lived in Canada.
John lived in Canada.
I lived in Canada for a year, actually. Yeah, I spent a day and a half, 2 days in a lake underwater.
Literally trying to survive.
I
Treading water.
honestly can't remember what it's called, but it was the middle of absolute nowhere. it was like prairie territory, and the only thing interesting about this place is that we had a great big lake in the middle of like 1,000 miles of nothing, and it apparently had a monster in the lake.
But it's not world famous, is it? The Loch Ness Monster is world famous.
Well, I mean, it's locally famous. People
famous,
care.
John just said.
What?
It's world famous. Everyone knows the Loch Ness Monster. Everyone's heard of the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah,
that is true.
yeah.
I've not heard of a monster in Canada. The Loch Ness Monster is world famous
Yes, it is. Yeah,
because it's so
compelling.
Are you guys having a monster off?
No, I'm just saying that John. I've never heard of a monster in Canada.
That's true. It doesn't have a name.
No, I mean, let's
Stupid
be
monster.
honest. The Loch Ness Monster is the
Pinnacle.
The yardstick of monsters.
like the Jersey Devil, sort of.
Yeah.
Like
Jersey Devil's pretty famous.
The Jersey Devil's
should
pretty
know-
famous,
You should
yeah.
know that one. You should know.
I have no idea what you're talking
You
about.
should know.
And again, I enjoy that kind of thing. If someone goes like, a cryptid, shall we say, like a fictional monster.
Like Bigfoot, or the Loch Ness Monster,
Yeah.
or the Jersey Devil, or Family
Yeah,
Nest.
having just slagged off people who believe in conspiracy theories, I like the Loch Ness Monster, which I'd forgotten about.
But again, if you like it, you enjoy it, it's fine.
That's fine.
I like the mystery. I like the excitement of it.
yes,
But like,
it's probably wrong. Well, we'll see, won't we?
We'll see.
One day.
Will we?
No, we probably won't.
but again,
We'll probably never know.
it's always like it's always it's that idea that like, but when someone goes like, no, it's impossible, you're like,
Stop throwing facts.
yeah.
Stop throwing facts at me.
Yeah, but did you think about the fact
Just
that the scientists scanned it?
Just let me believe, and then you're the bad guy. 'Cause if someone then goes, just let me believe in what I believe in, then you look like a dick.
If it gets to that point, though, that they're on their knees crying and they're just like, God, just let me believe.
But any
think you've won.
self-respecting scientist would say, no, I will not let up.
I will not.
I will make
Yes.
you apologise to me.
Until your dreams are gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it's like so much time, effort, money, resources are going to be invested in finding the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's private resources for Loch Ness Monster.
I know,
but
and
that's
if
up
it-
to them.
if people
Let
want-
them spend their
Oh
money
yeah, no.
on
If they want to, sure.
If-
I just don't believe anyone does.
But imagine if they found something. They won't. But
Yeah, but
Oh,
no-
it'd be great.
But it's
Yeah,
like,
I'd love it.
No, it's like, could you invest like at least 10% of that into finding like the farting bat of Sumatra or something like that, which could have like it's not sexy, it's a bat that farts, and it's going to have amazing benefits to science. I'm like, no, fuck it, I want to chase this fictional plesiosaur that apparently lives in Loch Ness.
yeah, that'll be good.
How many people have been abducted by aliens at Loch Ness?
Oh well.
Well,
That's
Maybe
the
that's
question,
why the
isn't it?
monster isn't there anymore. 'Cause
The
it was
monster's been abducted by aliens.
I knew it.
There it is.
and now Nessie is fighting those aliens.
Yeah.
Desperately trying to come
They're still
home.
trying to find where to probe Nessie.
Nessie's in an inverted scuba suit in space, so it's like feeding water into her gills.
Where do we put this probe? I can't figure it out.
But also, what would happen if we discovered? But also, what would happen if we discovered Nessie? Like
Alive or dead?
Like tomorrow, alive, utterly alive.
I mean,
Well, I think we'd all probably flock to Loch Ness.
I think there'd probably be like a Jurassic Park style theme park would be opened to view Nessie.
Are there
and
many?
eventually she would turn on us.
Are there many Nessies, or but one Nessie?
To have lived this long, there would have to be more than one,
Yes.
or it's immortal.
Okay, so there's many Nessies.
Well, no, I'm not now.
Okay, not.
You
or-
think Nessie's definitely dead?
I think Nessie's dead now.
But do you think there's a family of skeletons down there?
Skeletons wouldn't be able to survive.
I just don't
in
think
that
it's deep
water.
enough.
How
It's
deep?
not
How
It's
deep
not
is the
deep.
water?
I don't know. I'll have
we're
to
not-
rewatch the Titanic.
We're not
It's
talking.
not that deep.
These
Not
aren't abyssal depths. You know.
No, this is a lake.
It's not the Marianas Trench.
This is
Yeah.
a lake. I know that the Scottish call it a loch, but it's a lake.
It's like 5 meters deep.
The thing is, the actual
maybe less.
disproving, because I've got a DVD about it. Oh, here we go. I've got a DVD about it.
Oh, no, wait, you didn't tell us you had a fucking
got a
DVD
DVD
about it.
about it.
That
And the
changes
actual-
everything.
It's got a box set. It's fine. Yeah.
The actual disproving of it all is quite interesting, I think. Like when they actually go, oh, look at that, that's interesting.
But you don't agree.
But well, no. But they then go, oh, but that is this, and I think, oh, that's very interesting that they've used that to figure out that, and I just think that sort of stuff around it,
Yeah.
not necessarily the myth itself,
Sure.
but the science that goes into disproving it is as interesting.
I think
as the Nessie
the
itself.
phenomenon is very interesting. But like, even if someone had like a grainy photo and it looks like a head poking out the water, but it's like 4 pixels wide.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them they just go, "Oh no, that's like a seagull."
Yeah.
or a wave, or
Or a dog.
But also, what does it
or a
prove?
dog in the middle of the lake.
But like the
What are you
famous,
doing out there?
What is a dog doing there? That's even more interesting.
the famous photos though of like Loch Ness
Well, the
Monster.
famous photo of Loch Ness of Nessie is notoriously a fake. It was a toy.
Hasn't it? Yeah.
It was debunked decades ago. It was a toy. The one that's like in shadow. It's a silhouette.
Yeah.
You'd have all seen it. That was just a guy who took it and got a doctor to back up his story, so the papers would believe him.
What, like a GP?
Yeah, just a GP, because he was a respected member of society.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
I was going to say, like...
So why would he lie? Because
Why would he lie?
This was in the 40s or the 50s or something.
Nobody lied in the 40s.
And so the papers ran it, and for years everyone believed that was the sighting of Nessie, and then they disproved it. He eventually just went, yeah, it's a toy. It's a submarine with a...
What I love about that story is that disproves most conspiracy theories, because most conspiracy theories hinge around the idea of a number of people, usually quite a large number, 200, 300, 500 people in the government, keeping a secret.
Yeah.
And this guy, whose the secret like only benefited him, he couldn't keep it.
Yeah.
After a few years, he was like, nah, you know what, I'm going to tell everyone I fucked it. Like, that proves that no one can keep a fucking secret for any time.
Exactly.
Illuminati, fuck off.
It would leak out. A secret would leak out somehow, especially today.
Oh, God,
Oh, yeah.
The way things are.
Yeah, because you want the recognition. You want to be known as the person who faked.
Yeah,
the,
you want to be the next Snowden.
Anyway, I feel like I've taken over this with my Loch Ness Monster.
No,
tour.
it's,
I apologise.
I could. We a spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Conspiracy theories with a show called Hate.
I've
Here's
got
why
hate.
this is wrong.
Jesus Christ.
This could be our Halloween episode. We could do like our favorite conspiracy theories.
Oh.
Hello.
Winning.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
let's
up
do
for
that.
that.
Let's
do that.
I'm up for that.
Okay, my hate.
Here we
is-
go.
I hate it when my D&D character dies.
Oh, no.
I want you all to feel
Someone's
really
speaking
sorry
from
for
a point
me.
of personal tragedy.
Yeah,
is
finally
really-
something that Chris Ray can relate to.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought.
Now, what is Dungeons and Dragons?
To answer that, Chris, I have to go back many decades. Gary Gygax was no, he's the inventor of Dungeons
Sure.
and Dragons. Anyway, I play a weekly game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Is
Go on.
With his real friends.
Is Dungeons and Dragons similar to Warhammer? Do you have a model?
It's closer to Warhammer than football.
Okay.
That's not saying a lot.
Shall
you
we
don't
say?
have to have a model.
So's Tiddlywinks.
Warhammer is an army battling game. You have an army.
Sure.
Whereas D&D, you have one character that you play as.
Do you have a model of that character?
I do, or at least I
okay.
did. Well, I know I still have the model, but he's dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long was he alive for?
Just over a year, or just over 2 years, I think. Actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, that's tragic then.
Yeah, it's really tragic. I became, and this is where I'm coming from,
Yeah.
because bizarrely, this isn't a real person.
Sure.
He was a robot.
Yeah.
He was a fantasy robot made of wood and brass.
Okay.
Right.
What percentage?
What wood
Of
to
wood
brass?
to brass.
He was probably like brass 30%,
Okay.
wood 70%.
I would have guessed the other way.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting that.
And he wore trousers, didn't he?
He did.
Was he sentient?
He was sentient. Some of his species weren't. Yeah, thanks. I was playing a sentient character. Yeah. That was that. You just did a D&D insult there. You didn't
I
even
didn't even know.
I'm joking. Yeah, he wore trousers, trying to fit in, trying to be a real boy, if you will.
Sure.
Yeah. He was very young because he was built, so he was only 5 years old. So he was very naive. He was very fresh to the world,
Like
and as a
C-3PO.
result, a lot more
He was
like
built.
yeah,
He was built by Anakin.
correct.
There you go.
But he was probably about 15 years old by the time we get to know the true C-3PO.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
So my robot was a lot younger.
Okay.
Sure.
Did he act young?
He just acted naive. He didn't act especially. He could fight though.
He could fight.
But I was very attached to him because I was playing as him. And long-time listener of the show, Louis, who I'm sure will be listening to this episode.
Might listen to this.
Theroux,
He's Louis Theroux.
That'd be good.
Louis Theroux is a dungeon master. Yeah,
That'd be good.
He's the dungeon master of the game, is Louis, right?
Okay.
So he's the one who leads. He takes us on these incredible adventures, right? He goes, "You've walked into a room. There's a ladder in there and some poison gems."
So
which do you
he
touch?
I'm reluctant to say makes up, but
No, he does. He makes it all up.
the story.
No, most stories are made up.
Writes.
You know.
Narrates.
Particularly alien
But I don't want to
abduction.
be. I don't want to be insulting and say he makes.
You wouldn't
it
want to fuck up and do a D&D
up.
insult, would you?
Like I've insulted you.
Yeah.
Just now, and I didn't even know.
By accusing my character of not being sentient.
I don't know. Don't even know what I said.
Ooh, awkward. Anyway, so Louis is listening,
Okay.
I'm sure.
Hi, Louis.
And he killed him.
Oh.
If you think about it,
Fuck you then.
If you think about it, it was all Louis' fault.
Yeah, most things are.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've
Was
found,
he upset that he killed him?
He said he was, but we'll
But,
see.
but words are cheap, aren't they?
As we've talked about earlier in this episode.
It's only to a wordsmith like Louis.
He would say that his argument would be, I created an environment. No, I'm all right. I created an environment, a puzzle, if you will, to solve with your characters, and I failed to solve.
You failed in many ways, yeah.
But I say, my counter opinion to that is, you killed my character, Louis. You killed him, and he's dead now. Yeah. And
Did he kill him for a reason?
well, he'd say.
Well, he had to teach you a lesson. Yeah.
Someone had to.
Because presumably you have to get hit with things.
Yeah. So it was an unfortunate situation. I was hanging off the edge of a cliff.
Oh,
right.
I'm using a different bottle opener now.
Okay, that's good, because otherwise you won't get
Which isn't
soaked.
working either.
And in this game, you have to roll a dice to determine how successful you are at things. In this particular case, a 20-sided dice.
Oh.
And if you roll a 1, that's a critical fail. And I rolled a 1 twice in a row.
Which is bad.
That's real bad.
That's about as bad as it can
I mean,
get,
to roll a 1 once might be considered bad luck. To roll it
Considered to be-
twice might be
I
considered
bet you
some
couldn't
kind
believe
of...
it when you rolled that second
I
one.
honestly, Chris, I couldn't believe it.
You know what?
I can't...
Chris moved his chair quite softly there. Could we
Very
get it?
gently.
Could we get it again for the Foley? You know. Thank you. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's great.
Delightful.
It all adds to the colour of the show, though.
Much like D&D, we're
Yes.
crafting a soundscape.
We are. In many ways, we're the dungeon masters to you, listener, on an adventure
Yes.
with us.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah.
Is the lesson.
But anyway, I don't have much
So he
more
fell
to
off a
say.
cliff.
He fell off a cliff
That
because
is tragic,
he rolled
isn't it?
2 1s, and now I'm very sad because I liked him.
Have you created a new character?
I have, yeah, because that's the counterpoint to this, and you may say, well, what are you so upset about? But
Get over it.
just get over it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it would just be, I'm out of the game now. I'm done. So
Well, it's like if you have a budgie, I guess, and the budgie dies.
And
I'd
then
be sad. I'd be sad about that.
yeah.
yeah,
If it was
and
two
then
and it died.
and then your parents are like, no, he's sleeping.
Yeah, and,
and
they
then
get
the-
you a budgie that looks different.
Yeah, it's
But
completely
they just
different.
go,
Different
it's
colour.
because he slept weirdly.
He regenerated.
he slept
Yeah.
in a cocoon, and he came out of the cocoon. He's different colour
he
now.
was a different coloured budgie,
It's
and
his
he was also,
plumage
a
kind of-
dog.
Are budgies sentient? Do science know that?
Surely they have feelings. Budgies. No?
What class are budgies?
Surely class.
Yeah, rogues, kind of druids.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Probably a barbarian.
But if you came for a budgie with both your hands out like this, try and
Like
strangle
that.
it.
Well, from behind or
Well,
like,
no, like they could see you got an aggressive look
a
on your
budgie-
face. The
the
budgie
budgie-
would probably go, "Fucking hell, what's going on here?"
Jesus, and shit itself.
Yeah,
That's fear.
I would.
Does
I'm
fear
not
mean sentient then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
Wait, so what your measure of sentient life is? Can it experience the
Can
grim?
it experience fear based on a look and an emotion?
Can it experience the sweet tang of knowing that
Could
mortality?
it look at my
is-
face and know that I'm about to throttle it?
Well, to be fair, I've just become inured to that. Every time I look at you, I feel.
Plus,
bad.
also around
It's an urge I'm fighting.
It's also
all the
reality.
time.
It's also
around this
yeah.
neighborhood, you are known as Budgie Throttler.
Yeah, yeah. Secretly,
It's not that secret. You'd be surprised.
budgie throttler strikes again.
It's on next door. Yeah.
God, the day I see you without a
budgie throttler's around.
He's
There he is.
There he is. Just holding a budgie in each hand.
Hello, neighbour.
I mean, say what you like about him. There's a man who loves life. Just really living it to the full.
Yeah.
Oh, you got him.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Ray. I mean, I don't want to hurt your street cred, but you've dabbled.
You have played a role
You've
playing
dabbled
game.
in the world of role playing.
Yeah, well, you did one.
John did a special one for
John
Christmas.
did a special one when we could all hang out together.
Yeah, when we could have
was
10
cool.
people in a room. And
It was that was before the
That was
dark
cool.
days.
That was before the Empire.
Before the incident. Before the Empire, yeah. No, yeah, we had 10 people, and you created a custom environment.
I
You were the
did.
dungeon master,
I was,
as it
yeah.
were. And it was awesome. It was set in the 60s London.
Yeah, it was good.
Yes, it was.
Psychedelia to the
Yeah, it
max.
was Beatles.
We were a band.
We were a band. Yeah,
We were a
it
bad
was,
band.
It was. It was
terrible,
like
terrible band.
it was the Beatles, but also with psychic powers.
It was rap.
Yeah, and we had a sheet and we could allocate ourselves certain enhancements. things
Indeed,
like that.
indeed. Yeah. So it's like fantasy football,
Sure,
but with
but
pew pew laser beams. Sort
Yeah.
of.
Well, I don't play fantasy football.
No,
that's for
not
dweebs.
anymore.
I'm not very good at it. I always give up after 2 weeks because I realise that it's a waste of my time.
Have you heard about Blaseball?
Yes.
No.
Nick has heard about Blaseball.
Yeah.
No.
How
This
would
is, you'll get it. This is going to be a challenge to explain.
Is it something to do with baseball and another?
I'm kind of regretting that I brought it up now. Actually,
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
it is a bit like role playing.
Okay.
Oh god, it's gonna be tough. It's like an online.
Tell me like I'm 4.
I'm trying. It's like, what if there was a fantasy baseball league?
Okay, I'm with you. so
It's
far.
not real. Doesn't exist.
All the teams are made up. All the players are made
Nothing
up.
is real.
Okay,
And
I'm with you.
it's entirely fake.
Yeah.
Only it's like weird storytelling. And like everything is possible, and
Imagine
help
if
me.
you got a load of people together. What's it called? Improv, right?
Sure.
Where nothing's wrong. There's no wrong
Yeah.
answers. Just
Always say yes.
and.
Always say yes.
Yeah. So imagine you got a load of people together and they together told a story. But with the sheer quantity of people, they would be adding loads to this sort of like setting. So it's less an actual narrative and more instead fleshing out a world that doesn't exist. But if you have hundreds of people doing it on the internet,
Okay.
you could build this sport and whole like culture around a sport that actually doesn't exist. That's kind of what's happened online with Blaseball.
yeah. So it's not a game. It's not a game you can play. You just kind of like.
Well, confusingly, there is a game.
there is a game.
There
is there a game?
There's a video game at the core of all of it.
Is
that,
there?
that triggered it all? Yeah.
Oh.
yeah. But that's become irrelevant now.
Okay.
Okay.
So the
my-
people, right, are playing a game. They're playing a game, but they're not playing a game.
Imagine.
There's a game in the game, but
So-
the game is not actually a
so
game
say-
that
so
you
say-
can play.
So say you followed. Okay, let's replace the word
This is going to take a while.
baseball with football. So say you followed like your favorite football
Football.
team, and instead of Gillingham, they're
Yeah.
called like the
The boots.
the hot boots.
The hot boots.
Hot boots.
The hot
Okay.
boots. You know.
You really get it, don't you?
Yeah. God knows I do.
He gets football.
Yeah.
And
get
then
soccer.
all the drama.
Yeah.
So not the gameplay, the
Yeah.
the drama.
Almost like the
the
off-pitch
back,
drama.
the transfer.
Yeah,
window.
who's gonna be?
Yeah.
And then it's like Cluboo Magoo,
Yeah.
Dream
I love that
Striker.
guy. I love that guy.
You know,
He used to play for the hot boots, but Shamrock FC have got their eyes
That's
on.
actually a football team.
Really?
Yeah. Shamrock Rovers.
Wow.
That's actually a football team.
Well, I knew that. That's why I said it.
yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Though it was meant to be a made-up one. They have got their eyes on Shoe Puma Glue or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
What I said, yeah.
And it's like we just between John and I, and to some extent you,
Yeah.
we have just crafted something that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Imagine loads
Yeah.
of people writing that down online.
Yeah.
Around us a fake
So
kind of sport.
so it's kind of like when I
basically
Based on the roll of the dice.
no
based
well,
on
they just
they're
based on-
just doing it for shit.
imagination.
Okay.
for
Oh,
fun.
fine.
So
Right.
like when I used to live with you and Holton,
Yeah.
and you would talk about football,
Yes, I remember.
and I had no idea what you were talking about, and you might as well have just been spouting random
You
words
could have been
from
making it
a
up.
thesaurus.
I think we were.
Imagine that experience, but a game.
Okay.
So when you go like,
No, I think I'm with you.
when you go like, oh, that Clayton.
So someone will post on like say a forum like, oh, and then the basketball team scored a winning home javelin.
Yes, yeah, okay, that's good.
And
This is
then
great.
the
This
team
is great.
manager caught on fire.
Yes,
Yeah.
And then someone else would carry that on.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, the police investigated, but they haven't yet found out the cause of the fire. And then someone else might go, oh, it's 2 days later, and the reports are in on the mysterious fire. You know, and they're adding to this
Yeah.
sort of
Okay.
general.
I've got it
myth-
now.
And then it's like, and the manager was hospitalised in that fire.
So basketball is basically a story, not a
Yes.
sport.
That's
Yes.
correct. It's a
Okay.
story
I've got
around
it.
a sport.
Yeah.
I've got it. I'm with you.
we
It
go.
took 10 minutes.
And
got there in the end.
And it's like, new replacement manager Scorball Quinksworthy has come in.
Scoreball. His
Score-
name is Scoreball.
Scoreball.
As in he scores.
Yeah, but it's pronounced that way, but it's spelled Skurbull.
Right.
Scorball.
Scoreball.
Scoreball-
Okay. It's just an unhappy coincidence.
Scorball Quinksworthy.
Yeah.
And
I like him already.
I like that guy.
And it's little things like that, and then it's just garbage. Like everything is just nonsense, but people buy into like these characters and stuff. It's kind of like a bizarre. It's almost impossible to.
And then when they die, they're very sad. And that's
Yeah.
basically getting back to my hate, really. Is that, you know.
No, I
you become
appreciate-
invested.
Whilst I may not necessarily appreciate the intricacies of the game, I appreciate that you have spent a great deal of time
Indeed.
with and on this
Embodying.
There we
Indeed.
are.
I don't really
and
blame Louis, by the way.
I sympathise with you on that level.
It's not Louis' fault, really. It was my fault. I rolled 2 ones. I don't blame Louis.
I mean, that is horrendous.
It's really bad.
2-1.
Can you believe
Imagine rolling 2 out of 40.
That's bad. Well,
It's 20 times 20, isn't it?
yeah, it's actually worse.
Oh, is it worse than
Yeah,
that?
the odds
Okay.
are even
Well,
worse.
okay, well, that is bad.
Like, if that was in a casino, that's all my money gone.
It would be. Oh, I should be able to do this.
Was everyone like stunned when it happened?
It kind of were, actually.
Yeah.
It was kind of like,
I
there was
would
like
be, I think.
there was like a bit of grief in a way. There was
Yeah.
like, no, it can't. No. Not.
So that model's now retired
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
on your shelf somewhere.
I still have it.
I
It was
can't-
3D printed, but
I can't do the math, but I think that's like 1 in 400. I think.
ooh.
That is tough.
Ouch.
I think-
That's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I feel for you.
You shouldn't have done that.
I shouldn't have done that,
No, you
should I?
should-
Don't do it again.
You should have
Well,
done.
I'm going to try not to do that again.
You should have done better. Is what
Okay.
I'm saying.
No,
Yeah.
thanks. No, that's,
Oh, yeah,
no,
next
actually,
time.
I didn't expect to come here today and get critical feedback.
No.
But actually, that's really helpful to hear. I just shouldn't have done that.
Next time.
Yeah.
Next time I won't.
Do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, thanks,
Easy,
guys.
Easy.
Thanks, guys.
Sorted.
Great
So
stuff.
I'm guessing your next character will be quite different. That's how
Yeah.
it works.
70% brass.
Yes.
the other way around.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll save that for a future.
Did he have a name, this robot?
He did. He was called Forks.
Nice.
Forx.
Oh.
Like Sticks
Like sticks.
from Big Punch.
Yes.
There you go.
Now we're gonna have to explain that.
Oh, here we go.
No,
Big
no.
Punch was our comic on
No,
which
save it for another day. No one cares.
Sticks was my character.
No one cares. It's
Uh,
it's true. No one cares. Who's got a love?
Chris Ray, I believe.
Have we're not going to use a thing. I don't know.
Take it
I'm not
away,
bothered
Chris
anyway.
Ray.
My love is the American Barbecue Showdown.
What?
Hello.
Is that your wrestling name?
Yeah, could be. It's a new show on Netflix. Imagine the Bake Off.
Okay, I'm imagining.
But in America
Right.
and with barbecues.
Brilliant. I
It's
don't think there's as much
terrific
scope.
stuff. They basically get given a larder which has got a pig in it, and they go
Right.
right.
living-
Is the pig alive?
A living.
The pig is chopped up and dead.
Is it sentient?
It was.
You have to fight and kill the pig.
And they have to
That's
go
round
in. They have
one.
to go in and get all their stuff, and then just barbecue it, and do all their sides and all their everything, like the Bake Off.
Sure.
Same sort of
Oh,
challenge.
who
So it's a-
cares about the sides? The sides are always so
No, the
irrelevant.
judges do. Oh, the
cool.
woman held up asparagus like it had gone on in her house on Christmas Day and pissed on her kids.
Did they?
She was so upset with the state of the
Asparagus?
Did they barbecue the asparagus?
No, they grilled it. The guy grilled it.
Sure.
This guy got knocked out actually, and I'll tell you his name in a minute.
Shame him online.
because it's brilliant.
Oh, cool.
So it's the Bake Off. So someone gets eliminated, and
it
someone
Buck
gets
Fire
star barbecuer each week.
Oh, like Star Baker.
Like Star Baker.
Right.
I don't think that's actually what
So
it is.
it's
It's
a-
our
it-
favourite dish.
It's elimination. So
Yeah.
like
Every
you
week.
a cast
Every
of
week.
characters and
Yeah, so it's 8 barbecuers. They're all from the south.
Oh, really?
Every single one of them. One guy got criticised because he had a heart attack 18 months ago, and it led to him cooking healthier food. So they said to him, our one main criticism of you is that you should cook food that we'll like, not that you like. So they basically said, I'm criticising you for not giving me a heart attack.
Yeah, you should be trying to give me a heart attack, and the fact that you're not, I'm going to mark you down for.
So
like we appreciate that you cannot taste the food
Yeah.
you are cooking because
he
it
basically
might
sort of-
finish you off.
he sort of steamed some salmon and he steamed a sausage
Oh well, what an idiot! I mean, Jesus.
that he'd made himself.
He's a
and they were like,
communist.
oh, I wasn't sure about that.
He's a
And
goddamn
you-
Sounds like a
communist.
They
hippie.
were like, you smoked it on cedar wood as well. You
Oh,
fool."
cedar wood.
Oh.
And I
Oh,
could
my-
really taste that cedar wood, and it just didn't do anything
Oh,
for me.
Jesus.
Thanks,
But in a
Obama.
Southern American accent, all of this.
Sure.
And then my main boy Shotgun got eliminated.
You're kidding me. He's called Shotgun.
His name is Shotgun.
Surname wedding.
He's from North Carolina, and he got eliminated because he had floppy asparagus.
Well,
I couldn't believe it.
a euphemism.
Wait, I thought the definition of cooked asparagus was that it went a bit floppy.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I think there's meant to be a bit of.
I think you need
crunch.
a bit of rigidity to your asparagus.
What's asparagus doing at a grilling?
That is the question I think on everyone's.
Well, that was one of the sides. They all had biscuits.
Oh,
But
that's-
in biscuits,
that's-
in America, biscuits is a fucking massive bread
it's
roll.
like a
like a roll,
scone,
yeah.
isn't it? Kind
Yeah,
of.
it's like a scone, like yeah.
I don't know. There's 4 judges, or 2 judges and 2 presenters, like the Bake Off. They honestly, the amount of food that they had to try, presumably in one sitting, was just obscene. John's got his hand up.
May I ask a question?
Please do.
Let me guess that there's 3 judges.
There's 4 people eating the food. 2 presenters, 2 judges.
2%. Well, I would have said that
John's gonna stereotype.
Well, I would have said that ratio would be a Michelin-starred chef who'd done radical things with barbecue, a home like a.
I think you're overthinking it.
No. Bear with me. You'd have like
I've got a guess.
You'd have like a Michelin-starred chef, but
Okay.
he's taken barbecue to a new level. You'd have like a guy who runs like a really successful barbecue chain down in the south.
Yeah.
I think you'd have just a big guy.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
but my addition,
Go on, yeah.
sexy country singer woman.
Okay.
Yeehaw!
Yes.
Yes, I
Nick,
nailed it.
One of the presenters is sexy country singer lady.
Right.
Your last two form one of the judges. Okay.
Wow, a fusion.
My point is, like, I reckon there'll be one person on the judging panel who is utterly unqualified, other than they really like barbecue.
It's Big Jeff, and he's here to eat as many ribs as he can in 20 minutes.
But this is a professional thing in America. There's
Yeah.
professional barbecues, which I
Yeah.
didn't even know until I watched this.
Shit.
And then the main judge is this woman who's won thousands of these things, but professional barbecue meats.
Right.
And she's one of the judges, and this woman's just in awe of her. She's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe this woman liked my barbecue. It's unbelievable. This is the
Wow.
greatest day of my life.
She's famous in barbecue circles.
Yeah. And obviously,
Doesn't it take like hours?
I have now. She's great.
Doesn't it take like hours to do a proper
Yes, they
barbecue?
they had 5.5 hours in the last episode I watched.
Do they have to light their own barbecue?
Yeah. They use their own wood and light their own barbecue, and literally they just get given a piece of a pig. They have to go in and get the piece of pig.
Oh,
and
so I'm
carry it
guessing
off like
they
this.
will.
And
There'll
they-
might be like a dry rub
yeah,
or a
they make
wet
their own rub.
or a wet rub.
Yeah, well, they make their own stuff.
Ah.
Everything is done from scratch. They just literally go in and get a pig and just butcher it themselves.
Good lord.
Jesus.
But then they're going, oh, normally I would cook this pork belly for 8 hours, but I've only got 5.5, and it's an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to trim off some more of the fat than I normally would. And all this. Oh, it's very intricate.
Jeez.
But they're all saying it with Southern American accents.
Yeehaw!
And yeah, poor old Shotgun.
Who's Shotgun? Tell me more about Shotgun.
Shotgun was the guy who got
Asparagus.
eliminated in the last episode, and he was
Was he your favourite?
He was my favourite, mainly because of his name.
Mainly because
And he got eliminated, yeah, just because they said his ribs tasted a bit like lighter fluid.
Well, they should have been eating his ribs, should they? They should have been eating
Yeah.
the ones he cooked.
Brilliant,
Idiots.
This is good stuff.
That's a joke.
This is good. That's a joke.
We can put that in the book. That we
That's
talked
the
about.
first thing you'll tell everyone when they ask about this podcast.
That ribs joke
That
Nick
ribs
made
joke.
on episode 70. Fuck me, that show has peaked.
There's not a lot of jokes on this show. It's
To be
just
fair,
it's
no.
just a series of observations.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
It's very gentle humour.
it's the American version of Bake Off, and I'm enjoying it. I just clicked on
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Fuck,
I
I'm
clicked
gonna
on
watch
it
that.
at random.
It'll
and
make me
I'm
hungry, but
enjoying
I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, it does make you hungry. It's
think,
like
like-
Man vs. Food used to make
That made
everyone
me hungry, yeah.
I guess the thing I'm kind of like both horrified and fascinated by in professional barbecue is that there will often be a rag on a stick, which
What?
is used to dress the meat.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, it was more actually like spray bottles, like you normally have. So let's say kitchen cleaner in.
Oh, is that what the
That sort of thing
pro-
is. Yeah.
That's how the pro strap.
Not a
That's
rag on a
it's
stick.
just water though. They're just trying to get it to steam and smoke and everything.
Yeah, but they'll have like you might have like your wet rub, like your kind of dressing, and you want to like keep coating it so that you get like a kind of like a plasticky kind of layer
Great.
of. But they'll just have like a stick with like a
Rag on a stick.
a rag on a stick, and it's like this is my grandpappy's rag on a stick.
He passed it down.
I didn't
you ever
notice
washed
a rag
it?
on a
Like-
stick. And the
Should
guy
you
who got
wash it?
Star Griller or whatever it
Oh.
was actually from Jamaica.
Ah.
He was a good lad, and he was like, "This is the only non-traditional in American barbecuing rub and cooking method and everything." And you were like, "Yeah, it's great. I love it."
I've got
this
a good
round.
friend who has moved out to Australia and owns his own barbecue business.
I like it.
And he has like a trailer smoker thing, and he like shows up at big events, and he cooks big loads of meat, and he's always posting on Instagram pictures, and I'm just like,
My mouth is just filled with saliva.
How do you even begin? Like, how do you get into this game?
well,
Was he a cook or a chef before?
he was a cook. Like in his spare time, he was a cook. He would pride himself on hosting barbecues and just doing it on a garden party level. And then he invested in a big old trailer smoker because he wanted to take it to the next level. and then realised actually he could make it into something.
Yeah, but surely you don't want a naked truck. You want like a truck with a bit of grime.
Oh, you buy you buy
That's
the
how you know
grime.
it's good.
That's where the flavour comes
where
from.
you get
Yeah,
the flavour or the
you
grime,
buy a
yeah.
pre-grimed.
Because smoker. That's my point. Because you hear about
Where did the smokers start?
cheeseries.
Sure.
The places that make cheese. A cheesery.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and
I believe they're called cheese stations.
I heard about this place where they set up like a new cheesery.
I don't
and
think they're called cheeseries.
I'm going to keep saying it, a cheesery.
Okay, cool.
Say it until it's a thing.
And it was too clean.
Really?
And the cheese wouldn't grow.
So, but how do you? This is
cheese
like chicken and
wouldn't
egg
grow.
now, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because how do you start making cheese then?
Well, they had to get some
Old grime.
old grime, like a nearby
Ding-a-ling-a-ling. What's that? That's the old grime bell.
a nearby cheesery had to give them some grime
Some old grime.
to get it started. Sure.
And I think that's probably the same for like either my good friend bought a pre-grimed smoker,
But then,
Yeah.
or he grimed it himself by scooping it out of a pot of old grime and smearing it on there.
yeah, how do you grime something?
I like to believe there's
Do you rub it? Or
I like
just
to believe
chuck
there's a bearded man you can kind of call upon.
it?
Yeah.
Same guy who's the expert on Loch Ness.
And you don't ask him where the grime comes from.
No,
No,
no.
it's,
that's
important,
the
it's,
forbidden-
important, it's important not to ask.
Yeah.
But it's the same grime for a cheesery as it is for a smoker for
Well,
me.
and also,
How ironic.
interestingly, he has to maintain a certain
contact.
mystique. Eye contact. Yeah. My point is, you hire this man to come and sit in your smoker for a little
he
while.
exudes the grime.
Yeah, and my point is that he shuts the doors because he's got to maintain
The mystery.
you don't want corporate secrets.
That's his whole fucking gig. Like, I understand.
And then while you're not watching, he strips down and rubs himself across every.
I mean, that'll
surface.
grime it up real good.
Yeah,
won't
that's gonna
it?
grime it up real good.
Old
yeah.
Grime's here. Come on down.
Grimy Joe.
Thing is, I feel like I watch enough shows where like they'll go to like old Pappy John's, kind of grimery,
Grimery.
Yeah, they're going old Pappy John's smokehouse, and it's like, and what's the secret? We could never part with that.
Our secret is that 75% of our customers die within the first month.
That's the thing. We're going like, we could never part with our secret recipe. It's been passed down for generations, and then you know, there's like covert footage, and it's just like somebody pouring like 8 gallons of Coke. Like,
Yeah.
it's always something like really shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
really
yeah.
shit.
Just out of focus
But that's-
footage
that's
of the
the-
chef bending over and
That's again the glory in the mystery, isn't it? The actual secret ingredient is fucking Diet Coke.
Yeah.
From like roller cola Coke as well.
It's
Not
the
bottled
best.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and it's always like that. Oh my god, this chicken is amazing. Like, how did you do it? And it's like, I don't know.
I ain't telling.
ain't.
Old Papa Grime ain't telling nothing.
I'll never tell.
Oh, slipped on a block of lard.
And it's ketchup.
It is ketchup.
It's literally just
ketchup.
double the amount of ketchup.
I've got to love.
Oh.
Talk about polar opposites. I love Pride and Prejudice.
Oh.
What? Really?
Yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
Actually, for real.
The show or the book or both.
Or the film.
Not the book. Never read the book.
Fuck the book.
Fuck the book.
Readings for nerds.
The film.
Now, haven't there been a few films?
Yes.
There has been a 8-part BBC TV series.
Okay, that doesn't count.
Lavish, shall we say?
Shall we say it?
Lavish.
Let's say it.
Colin no, wait.
Colin Firth's in the movie now.
Colin Firth.
There's a movie with Keira Knightley.
Yes, it's not that one.
It's not that one.
No, it's not that one. It's
Already confusing.
well, TV
It's
series.
a different timeline.
Which is the canon version?
Yeah, what's
of
the real
Pride and
timeline?
Prejudice?
Well-
What's Earth 616?
Well, a purist would say that it was the BBC limited TV series,
Is the most accurate representation.
which features Colin Firth.
Yeah.
This is very
Does it
old. This
feature-
is quite an old.
90s.
Yeah.
Does it have Tom Bombadil in it? Because I heard that like the films didn't have Tom Bombadil.
I understood that reference.
That's good, right?
Yeah, so that's very clever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The film features Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley, I know her.
Keira Knightley.
Not
Isn't
personally.
Renee Zellweger in one of the films?
No,
Or
that's,
maybe I'm thinking of Bridget Jones.
that's
Diary.
Bridget Jones.
Yeah, which is based on Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, there's a Mr. Darcy.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There's a Mr. Darcy.
That's a happy coincidence. But that's Colin Firth.
who is also in.
Oh, it's all coming
there you go.
together.
Yeah.
This web is connecting up. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And the fact is, Lucy and I have watched that movie so many times.
What, Bridget Jones?
No,
Pride and Prejudice.
No, Pride and Prejudice. And honestly, it's a really good movie.
It's a banger.
The one with Keira Knightley?
Yeah.
I've never
Honestly,
seen it.
I think I watched it once because I know Lucy loves this film, and I think I have watched it once with Lucy, and I don't remember it very well, but I remember thinking, yeah, that's alright. Yeah.
every time we watch it, I forget everything.
What's
Yeah,
the
I've forgotten
basic
most of it.
premise of Pride and Prejudice?
Basic premise is
Here we go.
Is there some pride and some prejudice in it?
there's a lot of pride and there's a lot of prejudice.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Hence the title.
the basic
I know, yeah.
the basic premise
That's what I
is
thought, you see.
Yeah,
basic premise
Perceptive.
is it's like you put me on the spot now. It's like the 1820s.
I thought you were going to say it's like the A-Team.
It's like the
It's a
80s.
bit like the 80s.
Mr. T is Keira Knightley.
Except God knows there's no black people because
Oh yeah, good lord.
good God, it's the 18th century in Britain, and it's like
I can imagine Lucy's by the door right now, just going, "He's getting it all
This
wrong."
is not how it goes.
it's the Regency.
Let's say.
So George III is mad.
Oh, cool.
King George III, he's mad. So
He's
his
mad,
son,
bruv.
the Prince of Wales,
Mm-hmm.
future George IV, is being the party prince. Like he's just like loving it because his dad's mad, and he's just like having big parties.
Got a mad dad.
And there's maybe like some Napoleonic wars going on, but none of that matters because all we're doing is focusing on these rich people who don't have to work and are desperate to get married. And that's like
That's basically it. Yeah.
yeah. And it's basically like there's
Is she married beneath herself then?
no. The thing is like there is a couple, the Bennets,
Okay.
who are poor.
Oh.
And I say poor, by which I mean they're actually very, very rich.
They have a giant
Because
house.
Just less rich.
Because nobody in this movie, nobody in this story is poor.
It's truly poor.
Everyone is rich.
Yeah.
they're not,
Everyone
they're
is.
not servants per se.
No, God, no. They have servants.
The Bennets have servants.
They have servants,
Which
but
I
they're
had
poor
servants.
because they only have like 4 servants.
Ah, boo.
Yeah. Whereas like a truly rich person would have like 100 servants.
I agree.
Sure,
I've always said it.
Yeah.
And the problem is
I
that
don't
they
any
have.
servants.
I don't know how I'd find jobs for that many servants.
No.
The problem is
Brush
that
my teeth again.
they have 5 daughters.
The Bennets do.
The Bennets do, and this is
Keira
bad.
Knightley one of them?
Yes. This is bad because women can't inherit anything.
And surely
Well, like jeans.
don't they have to pay the dowry or something?
Yes. So my point is like in this world, if you have a daughter, that's
So he needs a son.
Why
well, yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
My point is that if you have a daughter, that's kind of bad because it means that like you're
Would her dad be pissed off that he had 5 daughters?
a little bit.
Why didn't he stop having them?
Yeah.
Well, he was hoping for a son.
Okay.
And it didn't happen. But my
least
point
to
is
stop.
like, and also contraception, not really a thing.
No, true.
But my point is like, they like their house, their land, because they have land, because they're poor, but
poor.
they have land.
They're poor. That's fine.
It will not go to their daughters.
Sure.
So when he dies,
Who would it go to?
his nephew, who is awful.
He's a dickhead.
Yeah, he's a dickhead.
He's a
yeah.
right
So my
dickhead.
point is, it's like if you have daughters in this era in time, that sucks because like
Yay.
basically this is it's kind of fascinating because it's basically like these. If you have a daughter, it's like shit because the daughter will never inherit the land.
Right.
I just have to like marry my daughter off.
So once she's married, then they can keep
It's
it.
someone else's problem, basically.
But do they get the land?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah. So ostensibly, it's about like, oh, I wish I could find a husband, but it's also kind of like, oh, this is kind of interesting because I'm learning things about how society worked.
Yeah.
But it's kind of
They're selling it to me, actually.
genuinely. It's every
though
time
I have seen it before.
Every time I watch it, I'm
You're
like,
selling this movie that I've already seen.
every time I watch it, I'm like, this is a really good movie. It is a very good
Oh,
movie.
right,
It's
I'll-
very well
maybe I'll
made.
give it a chance.
It's very well made, and the
Or is it on a streaming service that I can find somewhere?
no, oddly enough, the TV series is on Netflix, but the movie,
I'm sure I'll find it somewhere.
which is, I feel
I've
like,
got lots of Google vouchers at the moment.
I feel like the
That's not real currency.
if people say like,
Oh, I beg to differ.
but if people say like, what's the good one to watch?
Hmm.
People, the smart choice, people will say like, oh, well, it's the TV series.
It's the 8-part TV OVA.
But I would say the sleeper hit is the condensed hour-and-a-half movie version,
Fascinating.
which is very good.
I think I'd
would
struggle
say.
with 8 hours of it.
Yeah.
I think it will get to me.
Well,
but Tom
my
Bombadil's
point is,
in
it is a
That's the
deceptively,
version where he's in it.
Yeah.
it is a deceptively clever little story because you think it's like all these, you know,
Ooh, my handkerchief.
the Duchess, you know, but
A kick-ass duke.
But again, it's a deceptively clever little story, and the movie is very good.
Cool.
That's my love.
Wonderful.
I like it.
No further questions.
Your Honor. That was weird.
That was weird.
Jinx.
My love is pizza names.
Oh.
Names of particularly meaty
God,
pizzas.
we're a diverse show.
Well, I'm kind of pulling it
There's
back.
something for everybody in this
I'm
show.
pulling it back around to the barbecue bullshit
Yeah.
you're on about. I like how we've gone from Pride and Prejudice
We've gone
to
from
like
food to Pride and Prejudice back to food.
back to food. So like I feel like when you got to name a meat pizza, you've got to kind of get a bit obscene with it.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like
filthy.
Yeah. So I bought a pizza from Tesco today. I haven't eaten it yet.
Yeah, I know you did.
How did you know?
Because I just know you.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I feel like I've heard this story like already.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
Tale as old as time, this one. But it's called a meat metropolis,
Oh.
right?
What makes it a metropolis?
Well, this is the question,
That's
isn't
not
it?
a pizza. That's a war crime.
Yeah. I suppose if you view a city from space, it could look a bit like a pizza. I mean, there's like a grid. There's like blocks. Some are larger than others, shall we say? Blocks of meat? Meat blocks?
Metropolis.
Meat metropolis.
Does it arrange the meat in like skyscraper kind of?
It makes no effort at all to be a metropolis. And yet here we are.
What brand is this?
It's one of the Tesco brands.
Okay.
Fresh Tesco pizza
Fresh
brand.
Prince of Pizza.
I think it's called like the Pizza Company.
Oh.
Originally.
What do they do?
I don't know.
God knows.
God.
Still trying to work it
It
out.
could be anything.
Stop
yeah.
speaking in riddles.
But yeah, like you've got to get in. Like, there's a lot of them called meat party.
Meat pie.
Yeah, I feel like
meat feast
Festival
is the
du
main
Carne,
thing, isn't it?
which you
Oh,
might have in
yeah,
a fancy.
yeah.
And it's like we're really making a big thing here out of like an event or a large scale thing, like an event or a metropolis, and then meat, which is essentially the body of a creature.
I feel like the meat is less like meat. Fine, great. Meat on a plate, wonderful.
Meat on a plate, mate.
Cheese on a plate, wonderful. I feel the really kind of obscene thing about a loaded pizza is the fact that it's the meat apocalypse.
Yeah,
And it's embedded in cheese.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let's not.
That's the bigger problem.
Yeah, let's not overlook the fact that the everything in between the meat is cheese.
Yeah. But there seems to be a convention for, like, the pizzas don't have obscene names until they're meat pizzas. You know, it's like, oh, cheese pizza, that's just a margarita. You know? And then we've got the carcass carnival. And it's
Or it would be like, the vegetarian option is like the
highly respectable.
The jardiniere.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, classy.
The country cottage.
Yes.
I
And
don't
They're,
think that's
they're
a
obviously
real...
marketing it at lads, aren't they?
The farmhouse.
Yeah.
That was one. Yeah. You know.
It'd be like the beat your meat.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's a name for a pizza.
That's
Yeah.
great, actually.
There you
Yeah.
go.
What would you be interested? You know, it'd be like the margarita.
Ooh.
The Neapolitan. Ooh.
Oh, delightful.
The seafarer. That's an odd one.
The
but-
jolly old sailor.
Yeah. Oh, the farmhouse. The fuck nugget. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
It would be an ill lads go, oh, I'll have one of them. Oh, yeah. I like meat.
I'll have the carrion colon collapser. Yeah, bring it on, bitch.
Come on. People like or blokes like food that sound like a challenge.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to eat a metropolis.
The colon collapser. We'll see about that.
I'll see if my colon collapses.
Let's see about
The thing
that.
is like 90% of the people buying this pizza will be, you know, bros wanting like a yeah. But then you have like Nick, who's like a kind of medical oddity.
Sure.
Who
Let's
will
say.
who will order like the I don't know, the eviscerator, the eviscerator
Pepperoni puncher.
as like a snack because
Between meals.
because your body is where food goes to die. Like, you know, kind of like as,
I'm just a bit peckish. I want to meet Metropolis. Yeah. I feel like this is I'm dying.
Oh no!
blood is mostly cheese.
I want to.
Metropolis is coming back.
I haven't even had it yet.
Oh, you haven't had it yet.
I want an industrial revolution.
The greatest thing about the meat Metropolis is it's a stuffed crust as well. So as if there wasn't
I like
enough
stuffed
cheese and
crust.
meat piled onto it, it's got a stuffed crust in it.
The only stuffed crust I will accept is a hot dog stuffed
well,
crust.
I'm glad you brought that
That's
up.
bold. I love
Who
it.
who does that?
Actually, Iceland do that.
Really?
Yeah. If you go to Food Warehouse,
Yes.
which is Iceland,
Yes.
they do them there.
I've had pizzas from there and they're very good, but I did not know they did the hot dog stuff.
yeah,
I
big
feel
time.
like I feel like
Bigly.
I feel like Pizza Hut could probably be blamed for that.
I think one of the big
originally.
brands came up with it, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Then they
Pizza Hut.
stopped doing it probably
Because
because it's wildly unhealthy.
GPs came together.
Yeah.
I feel like
GG's against stuffed crust.
I feel like
Protest.
around the time that stuffed crust was coming in was around the time that my love affair with Pizza Hut was coming to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love Pizza Hut.
No,
I don't
yeah.
think I've eaten in Pizza Hut for 20 years.
Pizza Hut, you used to go to a Pizza Hut. Nobody would like order a Pizza Hut.
That's where we used to go.
No,
on our
yeah,
birthday
that would
parties.
be a meal out.
Yeah.
Birthday parties for a
Yes.
treat, Pizza Hut.
Yeah,
Big time.
always.
Go hog wild on a cheesy garlic bread.
Because I never used to like pizza as a kid, and I don't really now love it.
Really?
I wouldn't.
It is in
if
my-
someone said, "What do you want for takeaway?"
Oh.
If I have, let's say, one takeaway a month, which I don't, I have much more than that.
But for hypothetical reasons,
For
let's say one of
hypothetical
them.
reasons,
Yeah.
let's say a normal person, and I would probably have pizza towards the end of my list. I think.
How long's the list?
Pretty long.
Yeah. It's a fair point.
I would have.
Pizza's very high on my takeaway list, and generally high on my
Yeah.
food loves overall.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would go to like pub grub / burger, whatever, chicken, traditional takeaways, let's say, Burger King and all that.
Yeah.
Then you've got sort of pasta restaurants with Deliveroo and places like that now.
Cannot be bothered with pasta.
Oh, yeah, Bar and What, which is our local sort of
Asian fusion.
Asian fusion food,
So good,
which
Bar
is
and Wok.
amazing.
Go to Bar and Wok.
And then you're sort of getting into the lower end of it, and even then, I'd probably rather have other stuff than pizza.
Okay.
I think. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it. Don't get me wrong. I'll just go, let's get a pizza.
Oh,
But
Yeah.
it's unusual that I will say, let's have a pizza.
it is more common than I'll say get a pizza. Probably takeaway wise, probably that might be number one for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
But again, like I've never seen a human being process food in the manner which you do.
No.
And
Good work.
Well, yeah, you should see the toilet.
this is the thing. I get a little scared by a pizza
That's like a meat metropolis, isn't it?
Oh God.
because I'm an old man.
Yeah.
I see a pizza now. All I can think of is the ruin that will unfold.
Yeah.
Thing is,
if I
right,
eat the
yeah.
whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
We joke about my gastric internalized system, and it's fair. But I used to be able to, in a sitting, eat a large Domino's pizza. That's the size of like a truck wheel.
I was meant to feed like a family.
Yeah, it's meant to be like
Yeah.
a sharer.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And I can't now. Just for the record, I
After
get
your-
through
after-
a third of it.
After your doctor wrote that letter.
It's not that I
stop.
can't do it. It's just that I don't now.
We can't keep decompacting
keep
you.
doing this.
We can't keep squirting Diet Coke up your ass just to get it loose. We can't keep doing it.
It will cause irreparable damage.
We told you this the first 17 times.
Oh no, I've never been able to eat a whole, even large pizza.
Oh man, I used to smash them down.
No. I'll always keep, let's say 3/8.
I'm pretty sure there's been a time in my life when I ate a large pizza 2 nights in a row from Domino's.
That's crazy.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was capable of that.
But well, when I was young, I clearly I lived at the moment. I would do this kind of shit. Like
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now I look at it and I'm terrified.
Yeah, well, I'm not terrified. Now, don't get me wrong. I haven't gone that far, but I won't eat it all now. I can't eat it all now.
The thing is, like, I cooked an omelette the other day.
You've mentioned before.
I
on this podcast
cooked
about
a
your omelets.
delightful omelette. It was more of a Spanish omelette. I kind of baked it in the oven. I felt a bit fruity, and it was delightful.
Did it take longer?
No, it's about the same. But I cooked an
You
omelette.
mentioned before that you don't like eggs. It's fine.
I cooked this delightful omelette. It was delicious. About half an hour later, I kind of shat my bones out, and
We're ending up on this subject a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, you say at the moment, but like, there's been a thread kind of running. But yeah, and so if an omelette can ruin me,
Just think what a Domino's
I
pizza
just
would do
think
to
what
you.
a Domino's pizza would do.
You recently ate a Fat Tony's pizza with us, though. Did
I
that
did.
have adverse effects on you?
No, I've not.
Fat
that's
Tony's
a more
is nice.
that's a more wholesome
That
pizza.
was a very good pizza.
Yeah, it's lesser sort of fast foody pizza, more
Yeah.
of like quite a
I'd
good.
say that's a quality pizza. That.
Yeah,
Thing is, I'm
just
not,
wanted to check.
Yeah.
I'm the weirdo at the pizza pie who's like, does it have olives? Yes. Does it have anchovies? Oh yes.
Fuck anchovies.
Yeah.
I like an olive, but fuck anchovies.
I like a fishy taste.
But you don't want fish.
No, not that necessarily. I don't like anchovies as such.
Here's the thing.
Would
right?
you eat anchovies if they weren't on a pizza?
I do.
There you go.
Out of the tin.
There you go then.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I would often buy like a little pot of anchovies.
That's the difference.
Have them
That's
on
the
crackers.
difference.
Are anchovies the only fish that ever appear on pizzas?
Well, no.
Why can't you have cod on a pizza?
Pizza Hut back in the day used to do a seafarer.
Oh.
It was called a seafarer. and
Actually, no, I've had prawns on a
it
pizza.
would have
thinking about
tomato, prawns, olives, and I want to say
it. Olives aren't really
like another fish.
Okay.
And I used to like that. I used to enjoy that.
That's interesting. Now that I think about it.
You don't get many pizzas with fish on though, do you?
No, the last time I went to Zzz's, because every time I went to Zzz's, and I can count on one hand the number of times I have
Once.
awful service.
Oh, really?
Like, terrible service. And I had a fish pizza from Zzz's once, and it tasted like a harbour.
Oh.
It tasted like I'd come in after a heavy day's fishing, got up at 3 a.m., brought in just enough trout to feed the village, and then on my way into the harbour, I dunked my head underwater and just went.
Yeah.
That's what it tasted like.
You waited for the boat to dry out when the tide went out, and then you licked the keel.
Yeah, I grabbed a barnacle and just kind of honestly, it even my limit. I was like, this is gross. Like, it smells horrendous.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
Favorite pizza?
Favorite pizza around the table?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had the meat metropolis yet, so I'll report back on that.
Yeah.
I think it might be, despite everything I said, there was an Italian restaurant in Salisbury, my hometown, and they had the marinara, I think it was called, and that had prawns on it. And that was a garlic and prawn pizza, and I think that's probably the best pizza I've ever had.
Best pizza I've ever had was in New York.
Oh.
And I can't remember the name of the restaurant now. I'm trying to think of it. But that, by far, the best pizza. It melted in my mouth. It was incredible.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's got egg, olives, capers, and anchovies on it, and it's fantastic.
It sounds like a lot of people's least favourite.
Oh my god, yeah. More for me.
They're not going to sell that out.
Incredible. Well, on that note,
here we are at the end.
on this merry-go-round of hate and love,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
It's time.
what do we think won out? Love or hate?
I don't know. I like food.
I do like ending on a foodie note.
There was an element of love.
Now I'm hungry now. I've had a few beers and now
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say love. I'm gonna say love one. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I guess your opinion is
it
irrelevant.
doesn't matter
now.
anymore
Yeah.
what I think.
What would it have been?
It doesn't matter, does it? I think I'll keep it to myself.
Okay.
But-
Hey, in the spirit of mystery.
Oh,
I mean, it would have been hate. Oh, damn it!
Oh, you ruined the mystery.
Well, I mean, yeah.
The end.